Chapter 356. Then, let me ask you, how are we going to capture Jing Fanqing and punish him for his crimes? Gu Qinsha stood with his arms behind his back. I don't believe that the Jing family doesn't know anything about this. Han Wuqin, what do you think? King, should I write a memorial and report it to the imperial court so that they can discuss and deal with this matter? Han Wuqin probed. What do you think? Gu Qinsha smiled, and it increased the pressure on Han Wuqin. King, don't be angry. Han Wuqin said, right away. Calming Celestial Division has a gold medallion that the Emperor gave them. They have the right to act first and report later. Moreover, they can do things independently and don't need to discuss with the imperial court. But King, you should know that to eat up the Jing family, the governor's manner is far from enough. I don't want to eat up the Jing family. Gu Qinsha waved his hands. Listen to my orders. Yes, bring my invitation to the Jing family and invite Jing Qiu to the governor manor. Gu Qinsha tossed out an invitation. Yes, Han Wuqin said right away. King, please stay in my manor for a while. I will head over right away. I will arrange for people to serve you. No need. I don't want people to know that someone is coming. Gu Qinsha rejected. Moreover, you don't have to be responsible for my safety. If someone can hurt me, then it doesn't matter how many people you send. Han Wuqin nodded his head and left with the invitation. This invitation was huge. As the governor of a state, he had a high status, and even the governors had to personally send it to the Jing family. Seeing Han Wuqin leave, Gu Qinsha shook his head. The officials of the imperial court are too weak and can't suppress these local powers and aristocratic families. This Han Wuqin is just at Dao Realm Transformation 5 and is one of the top governors. Compared to the Jing family, he is just an ant. How can we suppress him like that? Even Iron Blood Marquis, the most powerful man in Six Fan School who is in charge of patrolling the world, is far weaker than Jing Qiu. Among the 8 marquises of the imperial court, Gu Qinsha had seen Marquis Calming Sea's cultivation. He was at the 21st transformation of the Dao realm and had transformed into the 5 elements. He was already a grand elder of the profound immortal Dao sect who held the core authority. Even Xiao Yin was only at this level. The Iron Blood Marquis was about the same. The 8 marquises were the Marquis Jiushi, the Marquis Iron Blood, the Marquis Sucking Star, the Marquis Thousand Autumns, the Marquis Subduing Demon, the Marquis Treasure, the Marquis Xinwu, and the Marquis Jinhai. Among them, Marquis Dashi's cultivation was the most profound because he was not born of a human. His mother was pregnant with a boulder from beyond the heavens and was born with many supernatural abilities. Now, his cultivation was even more unfathomable. Apart from His Majesty, there isn't anyone in the imperial court who can truly suppress all the noble families in the world in terms of overall strength. Those 2 old geezers from the Celestial Designer Institute are actually only about as powerful as the true old-timers of those aristocratic families. It seems we'll have to rely on our Celestial Designer Institute for this. Gu Qinsha thought as he calculated. The imperial court was divided into villages, towns, counties, prefectures, provinces, and states. Starting from the county level were the magistrate, prefectural magistrate, inspector, and governor. Back then, when Gu Qinsha went to Xian province to wipe out the barbarian race, the inspector of Banan province was only a martial arts master. It wasn't easy for him to hire 2 martial arts grandmasters as bodyguards. Now, the inspector of a province had to be a grandmaster, preferably at the Dao realm. As for the governor, he had to be at the Dao realm. Officials who hadn't reached this level had to be nurtured and learned. The imperial court would provide resources to train these officials. Even so, these officials still couldn't compare to those 1,000-year-old aristocratic families. Father, just as Gu Qinsha was thinking about this, a voice spread out from outside the courtyard. A girl pushed open the door and walked in. She was around 17 or 18 years old and wore armor that was dotted with stars. It was actually the Star Soldier armor. She held a sword that was also the Star Soldier sword. She gave off a heroic aura, and her breathing was long and deep. She was actually at the peak of the martial arts grandmaster realm and was about to touch the Tao realm. "Who are you? Why is he in the courtyard where my father practices martial arts?" The young girl entered the courtyard and was shocked to see Gu Qinsha. "Where did my father go? Are you Han Wuqin's daughter?" Gu Qinsha wasn't angered by the interruption. "I'm an official sent by the imperial court, your father's superior. I just sent your father on an errand." "I see." The young girl quickly cupped her hands. "My name is Han Qingnan. Greetings, sir. May I know which sir you are from?" She did not kneel down according to the etiquette. Instead, she appeared rather arrogant. "I am Duke Jing Xian Si Chun, the 19th prince of the current dynasty." Gu Qinsha did not hide anything. "Ah." Han Qingnan was surprised and quickly knelt down. "I didn't know that your highness had arrived. It's a big crime. Princess Uefu of the Calming Immortal Bureau is someone that my daughter admires. Since I'm fortunate enough to meet your highness today, I have a presumptuous request. I wish to join the Calming Immortal Bureau. Get up. You can pass the test to join the Calming Immortal Department. Our Calming Immortal Department has a specialized test passage. We won't let talents go to waste." Gu Qinsha did not agree, nor did he refuse. "Based on your cultivation level, you could take the test for a position. As long as a man or a woman of the Calming Immortal Bureau is talented, they could become a member after passing the test." He did not open the back door and followed the rules of the Calming Immortal Bureau. Han Qingnan looked disappointed, but she did not show it. Instead, she stood up and said, "What kind of tea would your highness like to drink? I will brew it for your highness. My Jing province has all kinds of famous teas. A few days ago, the Jing family sent my father some tea leaves made from green dragon grass. This tea is very rare." "There's no need." Gu Qinsha was not in the mood to drink tea. Instead, he asked, "What kind of martial arts do you cultivate?" "It's not bad. Although I can't open the back door for you to enter the Calming Immortal Bureau directly, I can still teach you martial arts." "Really? Your highness is a top expert. I heard that you captured the Jing family's genius, Jing Fanqing." At that time, Jing Fanqing was already at the 18 Dao realm transformation, the legendary Great Dao Golden Core realm. Han Qingnan became happy once more. "I cultivate the Heart Dimu technique from the Imperial Court Academy. Father's Cold Dragon Celestial Freezing technique was supposed to be passed to me, but after cultivating for a few months, I felt that my body was not suitable, so I stopped cultivating. Now, the Imperial Court opened up schools all over and taught high-level techniques. As for Gu Tongjian's National Fortune newspaper, each issue would introduce techniques to attract people. The Calming Immortal Bureau was the same. They even published specialized periodicals to introduce martial arts cultivation insights. Experts would explain them. At the same time, commoners could write letters about problems they had with cultivation, and they would be answered in the periodical. This was why in the entire world, even the poorest commoners didn't need to worry about techniques as long as they wanted to learn martial arts. The prosperity of martial arts in the world was unprecedented. Just like that, the number of experts in the world increased greatly. During these years, all sorts of grandmasters in Dao Realm Transformation 1 and 2 popped up like bamboo shoots after the rain. Heart Dimu technique is a technique passed down by the ancient Dimu goddess. There is a complete version in the Imperial Court's secret vault. Only a small portion of it is spread out in the schools. Of course, it isn't because the Imperial Court is hiding it, but because they are afraid that the students won't be able to cultivate it. Gu Qinsha pointed, and in an instant, a ball of will entered Han Qingnan's consciousness. "This is a memory. I just comprehended this technique. After you get this small piece of memory, you can comprehend it on your own. If you can comprehend it completely, it won't be a problem for you to step into the Dao realm." Han Qingnan didn't bother to say anything and started to comprehend right away. After a while, Han Wuqin walked in furiously. When he saw his daughter, he was shocked. He didn't bother to ask anything and just knelt down and kowtowed. "Please forgive me, Your Highness." "What happened?" Gu Qinsha's gaze turned cold. "I went to the Jing residence. The people of the Jing residence welcomed me at first, but after I sent the invitation, the people inside said that Your Highness should go to the Jing residence personally. Their master was in seclusion and could not receive you." As Han Wuqin spoke, his voice trembled. "How audacious! How audacious! The Jing family really has the intention to rebel. This lowly official, as the governor, has actually raised the Jing family into such a huge gangrene. This lowly official is truly ashamed. At that moment, Han Wuqin was furious. His relationship with the Jing family was good, and they were close, but this was a necessary method to maintain the region. Local officials and aristocratic families were close, but he was from the imperial court. The imperial court sent him to be the governor because they wanted to monitor the aristocratic families. This was something that every official was very clear about. How bold! Killing intent appeared on Gu Chench's face. I asked Jing Xiu to come to the governor manor to discuss with me. He actually insulted the imperial court. Good, this is good. Gu Chensha was really angry. It wasn't because he had been humiliated, but because the dignity of the imperial court had been damaged. As a prince of the imperial court, he had been assassinated by the Jing family. Now, all he had to do was ask. According to normal etiquette, the Jing family head would immediately rush over to explain and even disassociate himself and make all sorts of gestures. But now, the Jing family had directly refused and even wanted Gu Chensha to pay a visit. This was a great humiliation to the imperial court. If this got out, not only would Gu Chensha lose all his dignity, but the Celestial Tranquility Department would also be unable to raise its head. The imperial court would also lose its deterrent power over the aristocratic families. This was no longer Gu Chench's personal honor. Prince, for the dignity of the imperial court, please give the order. I will immediately send soldiers to surround the Jing family and conduct a search. I don't believe that the Jing family would dare to kill soldiers and officials. Han Wuqin knew that if this matter wasn't handled well, his career would come to an end. It would be difficult for him to escape unscathed. Now is not the time to smooth things over. It was time to pick a side. Wait. Gu Chensha calmed down and made precise calculations. Since the Jing family dared to do this, they must have a countermeasure or a conspiracy. This move of mine can be considered to have alerted them. I can see the Jing family's wild ambitions. This can be considered a good thing. Wait for a while and don't leak the news. I have my own ideas. As he spoke, he had already begun to communicate with the Life's Wish sphere. He wanted to see what countermeasures Zhuge had. The Jing family's actions were a crime of extermination. However, it was impossible for Gu Chensha to destroy the Jing family alone. Chapter 357. Jing family head Jing Xiu was an expert at the 25th transformation of Dao Realm, Undying Body. He could see the past and see the future. Logically speaking, he wouldn't do anything to anger Jing Xianxi. After all, the world was still under the control of the Great Yonko. The heavenly talisman monarch suppressed the gods and devils, as well as the heavenly Tao. Even some of the older sages and the 3 heavenly venerables didn't dare to come out in the open. Although the undying body was strong, compared to the 3 great Empyreans, it could not be considered an ant. It was merely a slightly larger animal. There must be a reason why the Jing family was so arrogant. Gu Chensha naturally would not act blindly without thinking. After so many years, he had long learned to endure, be precise, and be ruthless. Otherwise, from the time he was born to the age of 15, he had suffered all kinds of humiliation in the imperial palace, pretending to be a fool, and would not have survived long ago. At that moment, he stayed in the governor's mansion to see what Zhuge and the others thought. At the same time, he told Han Wuqin not to act rashly. Han Wuqin, I heard that the Jing family intends to propose marriage. Is that true? Gu Chensha suddenly asked. Your Highness, please understand. The Jing family has indeed expressed their desire to form a marriage alliance with the Han family. Not long ago, Jing Xing, a disciple of the Jing family, came into contact with a woman over a man. Han Wuqin hurriedly said, from the looks of it, the Jing family has wild ambitions. How can my daughter marry such a person? What does your daughter think? Gu Chensha looked at Han Qingnan. The Jing family harbored evil intentions and went against the imperial court. This is already treason. Han Qingnan was the governor's daughter. She was usually arrogant, but she was not stupid. On the contrary, She was very intelligent. At this time, she had already sensed the seriousness of the situation. Feeling a little scared, she quickly expressed her attitude. This group of rebels should be punished. This little girl dares not have anything to do with them. That's good. Gu Chansha looked at the sky and pondered. That old fellow Jing Xiu must have something to rely on. Or perhaps he must have something to gain from it. That's why he dared to oppose me. Azure Dragon Blood and Azure Dragon Grass. Did that mean that they had formed a relationship with the Black Heaven Earth sect? If I make a move against the Jing family, will I attract the attention of the Black Heaven Earth sect leader? Are we going to start a war with the Imperial Court so soon? In the world of the hope of the People's Sphere, Zhuge, Liu Baiwei, and the others also received news from Gu Qinsha. Simply audacious. Liu Baiwei opened her eyes, which were full of killing intent. Qinsha was kind enough to negotiate with Jing Xiu so that the Jing family wouldn't be destroyed. I didn't expect that the Jing family wouldn't give him face and go against the Imperial Court. Mr. Zhuge, what do you think Jing Xiu is relying on? That Jing Xiu naturally has a backer. The Scenic Martial Chamber of Commerce has been operating in secret all these years. Although they say that it's managed by Jing Fanxing and Wu Dankong, it's actually all because of that Jing Xiu. Of the two words Scenic Martial, the Jing is ranked first. Is it really because of that useless Jing Fanxing? Zhuge pondered for a while, as if calculating something. Jing Fanxing assassinated His Highness. Regardless of whether he succeeds or not, the Imperial Court won't let the Jing family go. If I were Jing Xiu, I would definitely stop Jing Fanxing if there wasn't a huge benefit. Now that he's tacitly agreed to this, he's disloyal to the Imperial Court. This time, he's not feigning civility. He's slapping His Highness's face, slapping Communist Deity Bureau's face, and slapping the Imperial Court's face. If we compromise this time, the Immortal Dao, Wu Dankong, and Gu Tanjian will add fuel to the fire, and our prestige will be greatly damaged. Then what should we do, Mr. Zhuge? The fourth was calmer, and he was also analyzing the countermeasures in detail. Since the Jing family has done this, then we'll do things according to official procedures. Investigate those who should be investigated, arrested, and killed those who should be killed. The Communist Deity Bureau's prestige will begin with the Jing family. Zhuge said, I originally wanted His Highness to go to Jing province in the hopes that Jing Xiu would repent. Given his personality, he would probably feign civility and give up some of the benefits. He wouldn't offend either side. But since he's gone this far, he can't blame us. Does he think that his undying body is invincible? Then I'll personally apprehend him. Mr. Zhuge, you're going to do it yourself? Liu Baiwei was delighted. But Jing Xiu is a wily old fox, and his cultivation base is profound. You haven't mastered some of his skills yet. Ever since I joined the Communist Deity Bureau, all I've done is give advice and suggestions. I haven't had any actual accomplishments. It's about time I took action. Zhuge waved his hand. Jing Xiu is a wily old fox, and his cultivation base is unfathomable. Perhaps he has other trump cards, but that doesn't count for anything. I'm the Lord of 7 stars. If I can't even deal with a nobody like him, how am I supposed to stand proudly between heaven and earth? Logically speaking, an undying body at the 25th transformation of the Tao realm was roughly on the same level as the sect leaders of the Immortal Tao's 72 archaic profound sects. In ancient times, they've been incredibly powerful, but compared to the Lord of 7 stars, they were far inferior. Shouldn't we all work together to wipe out the Jing family? Aside from Jing Xiu, the Jing family has other experts, and many other aristocratic families are involved. In addition, the old-timers from the Black Heaven Earth sect will definitely take action. Liu Baiwei stood up. But that's fine. Let the Communist Deity Bureau make a name for itself. Let's see if those aristocratic families dare to provoke us again. Don't act rashly, said Zhuge. Zhuge said, actually, this is not a good time for a large-scale war. At the moment, we should focus on stability. As long as we capture Jing Fanxing and Jing Xiu, then publicly announce their crimes, the Black Heaven Earthgate will not have the guts to start a war with the Imperial Court. Is Mr. Zhuge confident in this matter? Jean Suebwa knew many secrets. The aristocratic families were all under his supervision. In some ways, the aristocratic families were also part of the immortal Tao. They were no weaker than the immortal Tao's 72 archaic profound sects. If we can't even take down the puny Jing family, then our Communist Deity Bureau's efforts would have been for nothing. Zhuge laughed. The previous Lord of 7 Stars, Jiang Gong, was able to trap the Divine Prefecture's #1 fiend. So what if Jing Xiu has an undying body? Although he can see the past and peek into the future, there are countless changes in the future. How can he peek into them all? Moreover, it was very likely that the future he peered into had been deceived by the heavens, creating an illusion for him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been blinded by greed. In any case, Princess Yuefu, Suebwa, and the 4th Marquis shouldn't do anything. If we go all out against the Jing family, even if we win, we'll become a laughingstock. Suebwa's job is to contact the immortal Tao, transport resources into the common people's wish sphere, and build the altar. If Princess Yuefu wants to get some exercise, why don't you go to the demon realm and kill some demons who have cultivated magic power? Kill a few of them and offer them to the common people's wish sphere. That way, the touch of the supernatural can evolve into a heavenly demon tree. Because Lu Yu and the other 4 had joined forces to kill all kinds of demons and offer them to the common people's wish sphere, the touch of the supernatural was flourishing. It kept growing inside the common people's wish sphere, adjusting the vital energy and increasing the sphere's vitality. Gradually, the entire sphere began to fuse as one, and the vital energy's frequency began to match the various dimensions. 100 realms gather gods. Myriad spirits face the truth. Zhuge suddenly performed a hand seal, and countless tunnels appeared within the sphere in an instant. Spiritual chi flowed out without restraint, condensing into spirit crystals on the ground. Then, immortal chi descended rapidly as well, and all sorts of dimensional energies gushed into the sphere. Some energies tangled with each other, creating huge explosions. After the explosions, new resources appeared. Zhuge began to speed up the construction inside the common people's wish sphere. This Dharma treasure had not been formed for long. It still needed many years of tempering and brewing, just like brewing wine. The older and ancient Dharma treasure was, the more powerful it was. For example, the Black Heaven Earth Gate was obtained by someone after it was born from the primordial chaos tree. A sect was established with it as its foundation, and many primordial divine beasts were raised there. There was even an ancient green dragon. After being nourished for tens of thousands of years, one could imagine how powerful it was. However, the heavenly demon book inside the common people's wish sphere had been nurtured by Hu Gu for many years. It contained a lot of power of faith. Now that Zhuge Yu was gradually activating it, it was about to evolve into another world. Originally, even with Lu Baiyue's strength, she did not know how to nurture such a huge Dharma treasure. However, Zhuge had obtained Jiang Gongwang's memories, so he had seen all kinds of Dharma treasures. With him nurturing it, the sphere could evolve even faster. Jing Prefecture Governor Manor. Gu Qinsha used his spiritual sense to sense everything that was happening in the common people's wish sphere. In the depths of his mind, he felt that the sphere was jumping and wriggling in the endless chaotic space. Each moment, it would absorb ocean amounts of spiritual energy, celestial energy, and various dimensional energies. It formed layers of formations within the sphere space to nurture the touch of ghost and god tree. Mr. Zhuge is personally dealing with Jing Xiu. Gu Qinsha already knew Zhuge Ye's intentions, so he was a little excited. Zhuge Ye's cultivation was at the 21st transformation of the Tao realm. Originally, he cultivated to the 20th transformation and cultivated magical power. He needed to consolidate it, but after helping Wu Dankong carry out the 100 Realms' great sacrifice, his body improved again. Then, with the help of the common people's wish sphere, he successfully cultivated the 21st transformation into 5 elements. To him, Raising his cultivation realm was just too easy. It wouldn't be surprising for him to reach the 36th transformation, embodiment transformation. This was something that Gu Chansha couldn't compare to. Since Zhuge Yu was personally attacking, then it would be tough for Jing Qiu to escape. As for the other members of the Jing family, Gu Chansha alone could deal with them. I will not make any moves and wait for Mr. Zhuge to find a chance. If he captures Jing Qiu, then I will wipe out his entire family. Gu Chencha's gaze was cold. Although he wasn't a cruel official, he wasn't a kind person either. His responsibility was to protect the laws of the world. If the laws were destroyed, then the world would be in chaos. He stayed in the office of the governor of Jingzhou's mansion, settled down, and plotted everything. And at this time, in the Jing family's courtyard not far from the governor's office, Jing Fanqing and Gu Danjian were chatting merrily and wittily. Chapter 358. Let's see what happens next. Gu Xingjian's smile became even more sinister. Next, your Jing clan should be prepared. If you infuriate the Tranquil Fairy Department, it can be said that you have infuriated the Imperial Court. With Liu Baiyue's personality, he might launch a thunderous attack. That Gu Chansha can really take it. Jing Fanqing's tone became even more vicious. He is actually still in the governor manor and can't come out. He's just a turtle hiding in its shell. Don't underestimate this person. Before he rose up, he was really good at hiding. No matter how angry he was able to take it. Gu Tanjian felt it was a pity. The four of you tried to assassinate him, but he actually killed you. Elder Wanji and Xiao Yin died, and Red Cloud Sect suffered heavy losses. The good thing is that Red Cloud Sect and Calm Celestial Department are irreconcilable enemies, so we can make use of this. What if they take it? Jing Fanqing asked. Brother Flicking Sword, since such a thing happened, we will need to rely on you. If they take it, then naturally I will have many backup plans. Gu Shengjian seemed to be scheming. Moreover, you are an expert at Dao Realm 22. Even if you can't kill Gu Chansha, can't you kill the other people from Calming Xian Department? Go all out and assassinate the juniors of Calm Celestial Department every day, testing their bottom line. I don't believe that they will be able to take it. That is indeed appropriate. Gu Tanjian wanted to stand up right away. Apart from those few strong people, the others are ordinary. Let me see who I should kill first. Liu Yu, Qian Zhen, Zhou Bu, and the others? The five of them are actually cultivating in the demon region, so this is a good chance. You can't. Gu Shengjian hurriedly stopped him. If you go and kill these 5 people, you'll probably die too. These 5 people have already awakened the bloodline of the gods of 5 seasons. You won't be their match at all if they join forces. Brother Flicking Sword, are you underestimating me? Jing Fanqing was a little angry. If Brother Stars doesn't listen to me, you can try. Gu Tanjian said, if the 5 of them were alone, the power wouldn't be much. Brother Stars could suppress them. But with the 5 of them working together, the power would increase by more than 5 times. Jing Fanqing shot to his feet. Those 5 have limitless potential, he said. In a few more years, they'll have truly matured. At that point, they'll be even more difficult to kill. We need to get rid of them as soon as possible. Get rid of the unnecessary ones and refine them into puppets, or subdue them and turn them into our people. Gu Tanjian said, however, you can kill people like Long Yiyun and Cold Jade, who control the private merchant guilds. That way, the calming immortal department will be paralyzed. Attacking them with my current cultivation level is a bit demeaning. However, for the sake of wiping out the celestial commerce department, driving them into a frenzy doesn't really matter. I'll send out a clone of my magic power to assassinate them. I'll kill all the low-level members of the celestial commerce department. Let's see how they'll react then. Jing Fanqing's body flickered as he sent out a stream of magic power, which transformed into a clone that looked exactly like him. He had cultivated the 22 transformations, the Dharma manifestations of heaven and earth. His body could transform into anything in heaven and earth, and he could also send out a stream of magic power to roam the world. His body was not a fleshly body, nor was a nascent divinity. It was not a conglomeration of energy, but rather a Dharma body. It was incomparably mysterious and could transform at will. Actually, reaching this level was the pinnacle of cultivation, and therefore, the next step was to emulate the past. Although this Dharma power clone only had about 10% of his power, it was more than enough to assassinate the important members of the Celestial Commerce Department. Even if it only had 10% of his power, it would be more than enough to crush any expert below the 20th transformation. Of course, after the Dharma power clone left, he would lose about 10% of his power. However, that didn't matter. The main reason I came here was to meet with Mr. Jing Xiao. Gu Tanjian saw that Jing Fanqing was about to assassinate him, but he didn't stop him. To him, Jing Fanqing's lifespan was close to 700 years, and he had forcefully wasted his time in the Black Heaven Earthgate to reach his current level. He had used up all his potential, and there was no hope for him to advance any further. If Jing Fanqing hadn't entered the Black Heaven Earthgate and forcefully used the power of space-time reversal to cultivate, he would have cultivated for 500 or 600 years in the real world, and he would have reached the undying body realm. But now, because he was cultivating in the Black Heaven Earthgate, it was basically impossible for him to use his magic power to cultivate the 23 transformations of Tao Realm, past reflection. This was because his laws of magic power had been imprinted in the Black Heaven Earthgate, and it wasn't formed through mutual understanding with the real world. In other words, this was Jing Fanqing's limit. This was the downside of being eager for quick success. Jing Xiao was only a little over 100 years old, and he was already at the 25 transformations of Tao Realm, undying body realm. In the future, it wouldn't be surprising for him to become a godlike existence. This was why the core of the Jing family wasn't Jing Fanqing, but Jing Xiao. Even now, Jing Xiao suppressed Jing Zhou and the entire Jing family's luck, and those same families were all polite to him. Family head is out, and he isn't at home. Jing Fanqing said. He headed to the Black Heaven Earthgate to discuss matters with the sect leader. Then, he headed to Red Cloud sect. I don't know where he is, but he will be back soon. So, it was your idea to let Gu Qinsha visit? Gu Tanjian frowned. No, it was the family head's idea. He left a plan and told me to do this. Jing Fanqing said, no matter how bold I am, or how deep my hatred is, I won't drag the Jing family down for my own benefits. Jing Xiao has already contacted everyone and bet on our Jing family's luck. If we successfully suppress Calming Celestial Division, we will have the resources of a saint family, and we won't be exhausted for thousands of years. Oh, what kind of agreement did Jing Xiao reach with the Black Heaven Earthgate? What kind of agreement did you reach with Red Cloud sect? Gu Tanjian asked. Now that we're working together, you have to tell me some secrets. Otherwise, I won't know anything. It'll be hard for us to continue working together. That's why Brother Flicking Sword should stay here for a while longer and wait for the family head to return, Jing Fanqing said. I have to stay in the family to prevent Calming Celestial Division from acting out of desperation. I think we can humiliate Gu Qinsha, who lives in the governor's mansion. Gu Tanjian suggested another idea. For example, how about we run on Calming Celestial Division's Jing Zhou Trading Company? That's easy, but the family head wants to rope in people from the trading company and make them our people. After all, we have great use for the Calming Celestial Division's goods. Minor star return pills, major star return pills. These are all treasures that can increase the Jing family's strength. The family head wants us to infiltrate Calming Celestial Division and empty them. However, compared to Prince Jingxian's pills, they seem to be far inferior. Prince Jingxian has a large number of dragon-nourishing pills and even dragon creation pills. If they can help our Jing family produce more peerless geniuses and geniuses, then our plans will be much smoother. That's fine. Gu Tanjian said, I have a lot of dragon-raising pills and dragon creation pills, but I can't just give them away for free. As long as you're willing to pay the price, I'll give you as many as you want. How about it? Then what does Crown Prince need? Jing Fanqing asked. I'll discuss this matter with your Jing Xiao. I want to see how much temptation an experienced and prudent person like him has to offer to go against Calming Celestial Division so openly. Now that the calm immortal department had cultivated the common people's wish sphere, the general trend was set. Even in this place, Gu Sha could communicate with the power of the sphere at any time, tearing through space to transmit a huge amount of energy. Unless there was a magical treasure of the same realm, it would be impossible to seal the connection. Because of Gu Tashian suppression, your Black Heaven Earth Gate can't spread its power into the Divine Continent. Although I can stop the sphere's power, I'll have to pay a huge price. It's not worth it. Gu Tanjian said, your Jing family lacks this kind of treasure. If you had it, you'd immediately become a sage family. This kind of treasure is easier said than done. It's a pity that the Book of Heavenly Demons originally belonged to me, but it was taken away. Damn it. Jing Fanqing gritted his teeth at the thought of this, his killing intent surging. At this moment, a young man suddenly appeared in front of the two of them. This young man's complexion was like jade, and he wore green embroidered clothes. He didn't have any sharp aura around him, and he was extremely gentle. He looked like a scholar who had studied for many years. Greetings, family head. Jing Fanqing cupped his fists. So, Mr. Jing Xiao is back. Gu Tanjian didn't dare to be careless. Even a god wouldn't think that a Tao realm transformation 25 undying body expert was a small person. At such a realm, one would even have the ability to talk to gods. Prince's visit to my Jing family brings light to my humble abode. Jing Xiao's face was beaming, and he seemed to be in a good mood. I heard you say that you wanted to use the dragon raising pill and dragon creation pill to exchange for something for my Jing family. What do you want? Let's not talk about this business first. There's a problem now. Gu Jianjian pointed to the governor's manor not far away. There's still a fiend living in the governor's manor who can destroy the Jing clan at any time. As the head of the clan, Mr. Jing Xiao, I want to see how you're going to resolve the crisis in front of you. Problem? Jing Xiao laughed. How is this a problem? This is just an opportunity. My Jing family lacks a cornerstone treasure, and I think that the common people's wish sphere is perfect for our Jing family. That treasure is pretty much in my hands. Mr. Jing Xiao, you sure talk big. Based on what I know, that sphere merged with the Buzhou Palace, the Dragonization Pagoda, the Heavenly Demon Book, and many other treasures. Through the Death Exemption Talisman, it merged with the power of a saint. Over the years, it has gone through many tribulations to reach its current realm. There is also the Lord of 7 Stars suppressing it. Does Mr. Jing Xiao really think that he can outsmart the Lord of 7 Stars? Gu Tanjian wanted to find out more about Jing Xiao. Chapter 359. When Gu Tanjian heard this, he was stunned. Mr. Jing Xiao can even swallow the heavens. I wonder what you're relying on. Can you destroy the Celestial Calmness Department? But even if you do, aren't you afraid that the Heavenly Talisman Emperor will come out of seclusion? The Celestial Calmness Department is the Heavenly Talisman Emperor's most important chess piece. Jing Xiao was still indifferent, as if he didn't care about anything and everything was under his control. Back then, when the Heavenly Talisman Emperor rose to power, I immediately submitted to him, so that the Jing clan's foundation wasn't damaged. My patience has finally paid off. The Heavenly Talisman Emperor has been in the limelight for the past few years, standing at the peak. However, it has been a few years since he appeared. I just want to probe him. If we kill everyone from the calm immortal sector, would he still appear? What if he comes out? Won't you die? Gu Tanjian knew that many old antiques didn't dare to take the risk, including the supreme divine ability experts behind him, a few saint-level experts, and the high and mighty heavenly venerables. Those existences all feared the Heavenly Talisman Emperor. They wanted to move, but they didn't dare to. The 3 heavenly venerables and even those sages don't dare to act rashly. Then let me be the first to attack. Who has my courage? This is actually a kind of breakthrough. Jing Xiao said everything with confidence. I dare, but you don't dare. The existences behind you don't dare either, right? So you're seeking a breakthrough. Could it be? Gu Tanjian was shocked. You want to use this opportunity to break through the limits of talent and become a legendary divergent? That's right. Jing Xiu looked at the sky. I naturally reached an agreement with the major powers to destroy the Celestial Communist Department. Our Jing clan will take the lead and see what the Heavenly Talisman Emperor is like. Of course, there will be many benefits. Even if things don't work out, our Jing clan can keep our bloodline. Regardless of whether I succeed or not, as long as I do this, I will definitely be able to comprehend some of the profundities of Divergent. I thought Mr. Jing Xiu was arrogant and conceited. I didn't expect him to amaze the world with a single brilliant feat. Gu Tanjian stood up and bowed deeply. I've long noticed Mr.'s character. You've always been patient and quiet for many years. But when you suddenly strike, it's like a thunderclap that shakes the 9 heavens. Even the 3 heavenly venerables did not dare to make a move. It is admirable that Mr. is willing to be the vanguard of the revolution. With such courage, I am afraid that your future career will not be limited to this. Jing Xiu waved his hand. You don't have to flatter me. If I destroy the calming immortal department, what does the heir want? Now that Crown Prince knows my thoughts, you should understand that what I said is true. My initiative is also in line with Crown Prince's interests. If Crown Prince helps me, I will be eternally grateful. You're gambling, Gu Tanjian said solemnly. If the Heavenly Talisman Emperor doesn't appear after destroying the calming immortal department, it proves that he really won't appear again. And the benefits you will obtain are endless. As the vanguard of the revolution, I'm afraid that you will receive a supreme fate that will aid your cultivation. If the Heavenly Talisman Emperor appears, the chances of you dying are very high, but there is also a chance that you won't die. That's natural. Jing Xiu sat down. Crown Prince, this Gu Chansha is secretly observing from the governor's manor. What do you think we should do? Very simple. We just have to capture this person. If Mr. Jing Xiu makes a move, it won't be difficult to deal with him. But the key is that he can communicate with the Life's Wish sphere and escape at any time. Gu Tanjian said, could it be that Mr. can restrict the power of that sphere? If I can't restrict this sphere, how can I collect it? Jing Xiu said, I already have enough confidence that I can break through the sphere's defenses and collect it. Of course, capturing this 19th prince, Gu Qinsha, and devouring him will allow me to gain control over a portion of the Life's Wish sphere, which will be easier for me to collect. You want to kill Gu Qinsha? Gu Tanjian was shocked. Then there's really no turning back. Turning back? Jing Xiu laughed heartily. If I tell you our Jing clan's plan, Crown Prince shouldn't be shocked. Mr. Jing Xiu, please speak. Gu Tanjian's face darkened. The first thing I will do is to capture the 19th prince Gu Chansha and kill him as a sacrifice. Then, the Jing clan will kill all the officials of the Great Yonko in Jing province, restoring the Jing clan's rule. At the same time, we will gather our troops and use Jing province as a base to attack the cities and seize the land. In an instant, we will occupy a few provinces. At the same time, the Yao and barbarian armies will gather at the border. I will control the Life's Wish sphere and use it to kill the Marquis Dashi and his soldiers guarding the border. I will lure the Yao and barbarian armies into the Divine Prefecture to burn, kill, and plunder. At the same time, the Great Wei dynasty will attack from overseas, and the 72 mystical sects of the Immortal Path will send their disciples to join my Jing clan. In this way, won't there be hope for the world? Many aristocratic families will also respond, killing the great Yonko officials and occupying one or more provinces. As long as I make the first move, it will be like a spark that will start a prairie fire. The world will immediately fall into chaos, and the fate of the Yonko will be completely destroyed. I believe that within a month, the seemingly boundless Yonko will collapse and cease to exist. What a pity, what a pity. After so many years, no one has dared to be the vanguard of the revolution. They don't dare to do it, but I have benefited from it. Jing Xiu said a series of words, causing even a schemer like Gu Tanjian to be dumbfounded. Although Gu Tanjian was full of ambition, he only made small moves in the dark. He didn't expect that Jing Xiu would immediately kill the officials and start a rebellion, sweeping across the world. With a wave of his arm, the world would fall into chaos, and the prairie fire would start a prairie fire. If the heavenly talisman emperor was here, the situation would definitely not be like this. Unfortunately, he had been in seclusion for a long time, and the aristocratic families were naturally full of ambition. Gu Tianjin himself would definitely not dare to be the vanguard of the revolution. Damn it, this Jing Xiu looks refined, but deep down, he's the #1 lunatic in the world. He actually wants to do something that even he doesn't dare to do. Gu Tianjin's heart was filled with shock. In that instant, his face turned pale. How is it? Jing Xiu said this very calmly. Does the Crown Prince think that there's hope for what I'm doing? I don't know. If I knew, I wouldn't have endured until today. Gu Shengjian smiled bitterly. However, if Mr. Jing Xiu succeeds, we will still be allies and not invade each other. Furthermore, I can use the Dragon Nurturing Pill and Dragon Creation Pill to exchange for Mr. Jing Xiu's Azure Dragon Bloodline. How about it? This is a fair trade, Jing Xiu said. I have reached an agreement with the profound gate of heaven and earth. As long as I am the vanguard of the revolution, they will provide me with the Azure Dragon Bloodline and many magic treasures. They will also borrow the divine power of the profound gate of heaven and earth to help me refine a talisman. The Scarlet Firmament Gate even promised me many benefits and even borrowed their treasure, the Scarlet Firmament Gate's Heaven Stairway, to absorb the Purple Emperor Holy Chi from the immortal world. I won't talk about the other benefits one by one. If the Crown Prince has enough medicinal pills, you can exchange them for anything for me. It looks like the Jing clan has no choice but to shoot. You've taken so many benefits from those large sections. If you don't act now, you'll probably be torn to pieces by them. Gu Tianjian said, I don't have much else to gain. I just want the Azure Dragon Bloodline. However, if you destroy the Celestial Tranquility Bureau, I want to exchange for the Black Tortoise Bloodline and the Vermilion Bird Bloodline. How about it? That's natural. The Vermilion Bird and Black Tortoise are actually alive. To me, they're extremely valuable. I'll refine them into external incarnations. After all, it would be a pity to kill them. Ever since the great desolate immemorial era, the world has changed. These holy beasts that are born from the innate laws of the 5 elements have gone extinct. Jing Xiu gestured for Jing Fanxing to sit down. Fanxing, I don't want you to be blinded by hatred. If you forcefully raise your cultivation in the black gate of heaven and earth, it will be even more difficult. However, it's not like there's no way. When I comprehend the divergent, I'll naturally have a way to help you straighten out your magic power and change your primordial spirit. Patriarch, Jing Fanxing hurriedly said, it's not that I'm eager for quick success. It's just that time waits for no man. Think about how I've improved. I've cultivated in the depths of the black gate of heaven and earth for hundreds of years, using up a large portion of my life force. When I came out, I should have been able to kill Gu Chansha. I didn't expect that I would still be defeated by him. The Celestial Tranquility Bureau is growing too fast for us to cultivate carefully. If I cultivate in the real world for hundreds of years, I'm afraid that Gu Chansha and Lu Baiwe would have already become gods. That Zhuge, you would have probably reached the peak of the 36 transformations, comparable to the ancient Jiang Gongwan. At that time, would we still have any hope? That's not a bad idea. We need to act as soon as possible. Otherwise, with every day that passes, that Zhuge, you will become even more powerful. A profound expression appeared on Jing Xiu's face. However, he's only a heavenly law puppet. How is it possible to break free from him? I have plenty of ways to restrain him. I'll do as you say, Patriarch. Although Jing Fanxing was arrogant, he already knew that this Patriarch had a much bigger picture than he did. Furthermore, he had the grand ambition to swallow the heavens and earth. He dared to take action, and Jing Fanxing would never be able to catch up to him. Right now, you need to contact the disciples of my Jing clan and have them prepare all kinds of weapons and armor. Once I give the order, we'll immediately kill the officials and rebel, restoring the glory of our Jing nation. Jing Xiu said, once I seize the wish of the people's sphere, we can use it as a foundation for the Jing nation. We can hold a great ceremony and connect the sphere to the destiny of our nation. Patriarch, you're truly a schemer. You've been intentionally getting on good terms with the Celestial Tranquility Bureau and bought quite a few of their Star Soldier armors and Star Soldier swords. That should be enough to arm the important disciples of our clan. With these weapons and armors, it'll be much easier for the disciples to kill those officials. By this time, Jing Fanqing had already seen through Jing Qiu's plans. Chapter 360. Family Head, when are we going to make our move? I can't wait any longer. Jing Fanqing was very excited. When we kill those great young officials, I want to see how they beg and curse. Especially those supervising envoys who are usually on guard against the Jing family. They must die. The imperial court had secretly set up inspectors to deal with these noble clans. These agencies monitored the actions of the noble clans, collecting information and reporting it to the higher-ups. Such matters were managed by the Iron Blood Marquis. However, now that the Calming Immortal Bureau had established itself, it worked with the Iron Blood Marquis to strengthen its supervision. The Jing family had always kept a low profile and was one of the first to submit to the imperial court. Although they were treated well, they still could not escape supervision. Especially after Jing Fanqing was captured, the imperial court's supervision of the Jing family had increased significantly. Of course, because of Wu Dankong's interference in the imperial court, the Jing family did not have a hard time. Instead, they expanded their business and accumulated a lot of power. Jing Qiu also had a wide range of friends. He was friends with the heads of the various aristocratic families. He was also a guest in the immortal Daoxian sect. Under his methods, there were even some things that the imperial court could not monitor operating. Right now, you were just going to make preparations. Wait for my order before launching the universe strike. With a flip of Jing Qiu's hand, a drop of azure blood the size of a soybean appeared. This drop seemed to contain the chi of millions of spirit wood. It felt like if it were scattered, a dark green rain would fall from the heavens and earth. This is the Azure Dragon bloodline. It is extremely dense. It is the heart blood of a saint-level Azure Dragon. Don't underestimate this tiny drop. If it were scattered, the entire Jing province would be enveloped in this Azure Dragon blood and turn into an Azure Dragon nest. Any spirit herb in this Azure Dragon nest will grow thousands of times faster, and its medicinal properties will also increase thousands of times. Of the 4 great sage beasts, the Azure Dragon is the leader. Innate wood is the most nourishing. It is the law of life and death. If you want to increase your cultivation and strengthen your meridians, the Azure Dragon bloodline is the most suitable. Jing Qiu said to Gu Tanjian. Furthermore, this drop of Azure Dragon bloodline belongs to the old Azure Dragon in the depths of the Black Heaven Earth Gate. It cannot be compared to the infant black tortoise and vermilion bird in the Calming Immortal Bureau. Jing Qiu was right. The black tortoise and vermilion bird in the Calming Immortal Bureau were young beasts. Even if they obtained them, they would not be able to mature. As for the Azure Dragon in the Black Gate of Heaven and Earth, it had lived for countless years. The power of his bloodline had already merged with the pure laws of Khan-AD wood. If it was obtained and used, it could be integrated into one's bloodline, and one could almost become an immortal immediately. Among the 4 sacred beasts, the vermilion bird was of the fire attribute, capable of incinerating everything and melting the void. The black tortoise was of the water attribute, capable of drowning everything. Only the Azure Dragon was of the wood attribute. It flourished and nourished all living things. Of course, the black tortoise's water law also had the ability to nourish, but water was still far inferior to wood in terms of vitality. For cultivation, the Azure Dragon bloodline was the best. It could even allow one to break through certain limits of lifespan and live longer. Yang longer than you said. Cultivating. Longer. Improviu. Longer. Dragon longer. Dragon bloodhead. Blood chun. Chun dragon. Dragon nurturing pills? Jing Qiu smiled. At least dragon nurturing pills, 10 of them. Only then can I exchange for this Azure Dragon bloodline. Ha ha ha. Gu Shengjian laughed. Mr. Jingxiu, you've probably forgotten something. A dragon creation pill can turn an idiot into an unparalleled genius. If I go to the Black Heaven Earth Gate, I can exchange for 1 drop of Azure Dragon blood with just 2. We're geniuses. They are people who can cultivate magic power. If they are lucky, they can cultivate to the 27th transformation, second only to the gods. It is impossible to cultivate to the 27th transformation with the help of the dragon longer. You can't even achieve immortality. Jing Qiu smiled. The power of the pill is just a supplement. If you consume it, you will restrict your talent and reduce your luck. 3 at most. Otherwise, I'll go to the Black Heaven Earth Gate. Gu Tianjian bargained. The Azure Dragon of the Black Heaven Earth Gate is in a deep slumber. There is no way to exchange with you. Jing Qiu was even more confident. I've obtained enough bloodline. I'm preparing to enter the common people's wish sphere. I'll use this bloodline to transform the world and create an unshakable foundation for my Jing clan. The Azure Dragon and I have come to an agreement. What did you promise? The Azure Dragon gave you his heart's blood, even though he was in a deep slumber. Gu Tanjian was shocked. He felt that Jing Qiu was dangerous. He might be even more dangerous than the calm, immortal department. His scholarly appearance hid a crazed desire to destroy the world. This Jing Qiu can't be allowed to live. A thought appeared in Gu Tanjian's mind. He is able to cause chaos and is much more patient than the old antiques of those aristocratic families. He is able to borrow power and has a glib tongue. The key is that he caused chaos, and the Yonko was split into many pieces. My value as a prince has greatly decreased. Once the world is in chaos, my national luck party will suffer heavy losses. The key is that this person's rise doesn't benefit me at all. What I want is for him and the calm immortal department to die together, and then I will reap the benefits. Now it seems like this person has planned everything and is really confident in taking down the calm immortal department. If that happens, I will probably be killed by him in the future. Killing intent rose up in Gu Tanjian's heart, but he knew that he was far from Jing Qiu's match. The undying body of the Tao Realm's 25th transformation wasn't something that the elders could easily nurture. Prince, do you want to kill me? Jing Qiu smiled. Prince, you are thinking that it is best if I die together with the calm, immortal department so that you can reap the benefits. After all, you want to seize the throne and use the luck of Great Young to do some things. If the dynasty is split into many pieces, it won't benefit you at all. Moreover, in the future, when the Celestial Path cultivators deal with the Gu family, you won't be able to escape. Even if you have some ancient existences supporting you, once the situation changes, they will abandon you and leave. Moreover, with your current strength, even if you use your trump cards, you won't be able to kill me. On the contrary, I can easily kill you. Since I can cut off the power of the common people's wish ball, I can also cut off your connection with the old antique and kill you on the spot. Gu Tanjian forced a smile. Mr. Jing Qiu must be joking. There is no benefit in offending the existence behind me. Lord the Great Spirit God isn't the strongest among all the gods, but he is definitely the smartest. Right now, all the gods are basically locked up and can't even communicate with their believers. They are all sealed in a dangerous place, including Maha God. However, the Great Spirit God gave up his position and descended to the world. Along with him assassinating Gu Taxian, he obtained the blessings of some mysterious power, causing his strength to increase instead. Jing Qiu had calculated everything clearly. Gu Tanjian actually couldn't hide anything from him. Mr. Jing Qiu is really amazing. I have no choice but to admire you. Gu Tanjian said, how about this? At most, I'll give you 5 dragon creation pills in exchange for the saint blood of old Azure Dragon. If this deal doesn't work, then I'll forget about it. That's fine. Looks like this is the Crown Prince's bottom line. Jing Qiu gave the Azure Dragon blood to Gu Tanjian in exchange for 5 dragon creation pills. He then handed them to Jing Fanqing. Fanqing, use these dragon creation pills to train your disciples. You must create 5 unparalleled geniuses in a short period of time. The main thing is that after we conquer the provinces, we need talents to manage them. And I don't have time to settle them. As an unparalleled genius, you could be the founder of a country. Yes, master. Jing Fanqing took the dragon creation pills and felt that it was a pity. However, he was also an unparalleled genius now. There was no point in using the pills. It would just be a waste. But the dragon creation pills could still be exchanged for countless treasures at the mystic immortal sect. However, he couldn't go against the master's wishes at the moment. The deal is done. I have to go back and refine the azure dragon blood into my own bloodline to increase my potential. Gu Tanjian felt that he couldn't stay here any longer. Have a safe journey, Crown Prince. Jing Qiu didn't stop Gu Tanjian and watched him leave. Patriarch, why don't we keep him here? He has many treasures on him. If we can kill him, we'll be able to reap a great harvest. It'll be even greater than killing Gu Chun and Bao Yue. Jing Fanqing had long since wanted to kill him. The existence behind him is ancient and mysterious. If I make a move now, I'll be saved by that existence, and it'll only cause more problems. Think about it. The mysterious big shot behind him has given him so many resources, even the dragon creation pill, a heaven-defying treasure from the dragon gate of the Desolate Aeon. He's clearly a chess piece. How could those big shots let me kill him so easily? Jing Qiu said, what's more, what we need to do now is to split the divine prefecture, shake the foundations of the Yonko, and set the prairie ablaze. As the vanguard of the revolution, I'll naturally obtain boundless luck. If we cause more problems and offend the big shot behind Gu Tanjian, this plan will fail on the verge of success. If we succeed, we'll also kill Gu Tanjian. Jing Fanqing licked his lips, looking extremely bloodthirsty. Everyone in the Gu clan will die. After I succeed, I'll communicate with the existences behind Gu Tanjian and obtain their support. As long as they obtain enough benefits, they'll also abandon the chess piece Gu Tanjian. At that time, you can do whatever you want with him. Jing Qiu had already arranged everything. Then I'll go now. When will the master give the order to move? I want to be mentally prepared. Jing Fanqing asked. I still have something to do, but it'll be very soon. I'm going to see that Wu Dankong. Jing Qiu said, I believe that the Black Heaven Earth sect leader has already revealed some of Wu Dankong's secrets to you. Our Jing clan is killing officials and rebelling. If she tries to stop us, I'm afraid it'll be a huge obstacle. Chapter 361. Sect leader said that Wu Dankong has a top treasure on him. I found it weird too. Jing Fanqing said, but since family head is going to help, then it will definitely be easy and you'll be able to settle this matter. Your mission now is not to act rashly. Just gather all the experts of our Jing family and occupy the various provinces, prefectures, and counties in the name of doing business. At the same time, keep an eye on the Governor Manor and prepare to strike like lightning to wipe out Yonko-S rule in Jinzhou. Jing Qiu stared at the Governor Manor. Han Wuqin was a talent. He came from a poor family, and when he was young, he went up the mountain to chop wood and serve his mother. In the end, he actually obtained the Cold Dragon Celestial Freezing Technique and a cauldron of pills left by an expert in a cave. After cleansing his body, he cultivated for dozens of years and finally reached his current realm. Unfortunately, he wasn't willing to join our Jing family. What is Han Wuqin? At most, he is at the 100 Aperture Spirit Gathering realm. There are many people like him who have such fortuitous encounters. He just has some luck. The Cold Dragon Celestial Freezing Technique is an ancient technique that absorbs cold energy and uses it to circulate around the body. It isn't a strong technique. Jing Fanqing was filled with disdain. Such a small person has been suppressing our Jing family for so many years. I'm really unhappy about it. Forget it, but this person has some luck. If you want to attack, then wipe out the roots. Don't leave a single one of his 9 families alive. Kill them all. Jing Qiu's eyes flashed with killing intent. At the same time, transfer some of the magic treasures from the Scenic Martial Merchant Association to my Jingzhou in the next few days. I reckon that once the world is in chaos, all the aristocratic families will respond to our call. When the states start a lockdown, it will be tough to move resources. Don't worry, Patriarch. With Jing Fanqing's current cultivation, he wasn't afraid of any sudden incidents. I am worried about the Wu clan's attitude. Ever since I was plotted against by that little bastard Gu Qinsha, the Wu clan and Wu Dongkong's attitude toward me has changed. I think the Wu clan's thinking is for Wu Dangkong to ascend to the throne as a woman and rule over the world, restoring the glory of the martial emperor. Right now, Wu Dangkong is already in the central position of the imperial court. She is the country's supervisor and the imperial harem empress. If the world is in chaos, it won't be beneficial to the Wu clan. I'm afraid the Wu clan will turn around and suppress us. Also, why did Patriarch tell Gu Tanjian about the plan? If he leaked it, wouldn't it mess up our plan? It's fine. Right now, only the Celestial Pacification Department can suppress us. The Imperial Court's 8 marquises and 3 dukes each have their own missions. It's impossible for them to come out in full force. As for the Celestial Designer Institute and the Supernatural Workmanship Institute, the 2 old fellows will act according to the wind. Ever since Gu Taxian went into seclusion, they have been slacking and won't stand out against us. The reason why I told Gu Tanjian is firstly to intimidate him. Secondly, if he really leaked it, it will increase our prestige. Under the mysterious heaven's will, I will let the world know that I am the vanguard of the revolution. This is also a kind of resource that will allow me to comprehend the changes of the variables. Jing Xiu said, Fanqing, you still can't understand this realm. If you don't enter the Black Heaven Earth Gate to cultivate, you still have a chance. However, there's no rush. I will turn you around sooner or later. Many thanks, Patriarch, Jing Fanqing said. How long will it take Patriarch to deal with the matter of Wu Dangkong? Just 2 or 3 days. This woman is still not mature enough. Jing Xiu said, after dealing with this woman, it will be the day of our Jing clan's uprising. In about 3 days, the heaven and earth will change. As he spoke, Jing Xiu had already disappeared. At this time, even Jing Fanqing couldn't see how Jing Xiu had left. Gu Qinsha, you're dead this time. Jing Fanqing looked at the governor's office, not far away, but he didn't want to alert the enemy. In fact, he knew that with his current cultivation, he was no match for this person. In the governor's office in Jing province, Gu Qinsha was discussing with Han Wuqin. Your frost dragon celestial art was left behind by an ancient immortal. However, that immortal's cultivation was only at the 19 changes. He didn't cultivate magic power. In the end, he died, so this art is not complete. I will now teach you another martial art called the Fire Dragon Alchemy art. It will complement this art and complement each other. Once you master the water and fire, you will definitely break through to the next realm. It won't be a problem for you to cultivate the glass jade body. Since the Jing clan has evil intentions, they must be eliminated. After that, Jing province will be in turmoil for a while. At that time, you will need to appease the people. Thank you, Your Highness. Han Wuqin was overjoyed. The Fire Dragon Alchemy art was deduced by Gu Qinsha based on many cultivation arts. It was the most suitable art for the Frost Dragon Celestial art. With his current cultivation base, he could already control 300,000 things with a single thought. In addition, the book The Heavenly Talisman Immortal Emperor gave him contained many cultivation arts, history, manufacturing, secrets, and so on. Qin Wentian was extremely knowledgeable. The book The Heavenly Talisman Immortal Emperor gave him contained all sorts of cultivation arts, history, manufacturing, and secrets. It could be said that Gu Qinsha's accumulation was full. What was left was self-enlightenment, solidifying his foundation, and turning all his accumulation into magic power. The reason why he gave Han Wuqin some pointers was that he found this person to be quite talented, especially when it came to governing and handling various political relationships. His understanding of the way of governing a country was superb. Moreover, this person was truly loyal to the imperial court. Your Highness, I have already ordered my subordinates to start observing in secret. If the Jing clan makes any movements, they will immediately be captured. But if you can capture the main culprit and capture Jing Xiu and Jing Fanqing, then it will be much easier to deal with the Jing family. After all, the Jing family isn't a sane aristocratic family, and they don't have many experts. Han Wuqin said, "To capture the thief, capture the leader first. That will reduce the chaos to the minimum. I can wipe out Jing Fanqing with the flip of my palm, but it will be tough for Jing Qiu. He has cultivated to the Tao realm 25 transformation undying body. It isn't as simple as strength. Instead, he can use divination and know the past and future. He can predict everything and gain the upper hand." Gu Chunsha explained in detail. He wasn't in a rush and was waiting for news from Zhuge Ye. Zhuge Ye had personally attacked to deal with Jing Qiu. The moment he attacked, he would strike like lightning and kill Jing Fanqing. As for the other Jing family members, he would deal with them when the time came. He patiently discussed with Han Wuqin here to grasp the place and understand the strategy of governing a country. His common people heaven-mending technique was comprehended from common people, and he understood the ways of governing a country, the customs of the people. This was also a resource for him to improve. He was asking about law and order. Jingzhou had the best law and order, and there weren't any thieves. The rich families and sects all did business in a well-behaved manner and didn't dare to bully the people. Actually, the hardest thing to deal with is those gangs. There are many boxing dojos among the people, and they train to protect themselves. When they train, they become senior brothers. As time goes on, they form gangs and sections. They collude with local officials and families, and that becomes a problem. That is the underworld. Han Wuqin said, "But the emperor gave the decree to build schools everywhere and let the disciples learn and train for free. He cut off the business of many boxing dojos and sects, so the underworld was slowly cut off." He then talked about how he managed the sects in Jingzhou and how he fought with the Jing family. He used his governor identity to suppress some branches of the Jing family. Gu Qinsha didn't expect that there were so many things hidden in the seemingly peaceful Jingzhou. The undercurrents were turbulent and couldn't be underestimated. He listened with great interest. He thought that with Han Wuqin's cultivation and background, he might not be able to govern Jingzhou better than Han Wuqin if he became the governor. Han Wuqin wasn't even a genius, but a top-notch talent. However, Gu Qinsha was a top genius and was close to being a saint. Talents are needed to govern a place and cultivate too. However, governing a country seems to be different from cultivation. Could it be that humans don't need talent and can be compared to geniuses through cultivation? If one can't cultivate and their talents aren't good, they won't be able to comprehend the Tao. Is this the threshold set up by the heavenly Tao for immortality? Gu Qinsha seemed to have comprehended something crucial. For example, if an idiot was taught to cultivate, he wouldn't be able to reach a high realm. However, if he was allowed to study and increase his knowledge and become an official, he would be able to govern a village, then a town, and finally a county. It wasn't impossible for him to become a governor. In this aspect, it seemed like the heavenly Tao didn't have strict requirement for talent. In terms of cultivation, if one wasn't a genius, they wouldn't be able to cultivate to the golden core of the great path. If one wasn't a genius, they wouldn't be able to cultivate spiritual power and reach the 20 changes of the Tao realm. As for being an official or any other profession, the requirements weren't as harsh. In history, there were even foolish princes and foolish officials who still managed to keep the world at peace and nothing happened. There were also foolish people who became great masters. As the saying goes, diligence can make up for one's stupidity and clumsy birds fly early. As for cultivation, no matter how diligent one was in cultivation, it was of no use. Cultivation is a matter of life and death. Breaking through realms can increase one's lifespan. This is the most crucial point, and it is restricted by the heavenly axiom. To the heavenly axiom, all living beings in the world are crops, and death means that the crops have ripened. If people don't die, it means that the crops have not ripened, and instead, they will steal the fertility of the fields, so it is better to eradicate them. It is no wonder that the highest aptitude set by the heavenly axiom is to be born a saint and a child of destiny. Even a saint cannot live forever, and in the end, they will turn into the laws and merge with the heavenly axiom, becoming one with the heavenly axiom. From the looks of it, a saint is just an extremely fat pig. Only then will I have the opportunity to break through. Guchinch's understanding of divergence deepened by another level. It seemed that there was indeed the principle of mending the heavens and reforming the heavens among the lowly common people. He slowly comprehended the changes here, waiting for an opportunity. At this moment, in the depths of the wildlands, there were primitive forests everywhere. There were huge trees that covered the sky and majestic mountain ranges. All sorts of peaks were like ancient giants, stretching to the ends of the world. Who knew how many secrets were hidden in these mountains and forests? On a protruding and ferocious peak, the clouds were still halfway up the mountain. Standing on the peak, one could see the sea of clouds floating. Wu Dangkong stood there and said to the sky, "Uncle Jing Xiu, why did you ask to meet me in the depths of the wildlands today?" Chapter 362. Jing Xiu's body was still so elegant. In comparison, he was much more elegant than Jing Fanqing. Comparing the two of them, one was a scholar while the other was a hooligan who liked to fight on the streets. In fact, Jing Fanqing was originally an extremely powerful person. He was born to be an unparalleled genius, but because he had an engagement with Wu Dangkong, and Wu Dangkong married into the royal palace, his mentality changed, which led to his current appearance. He had yet to walk out of the shadow. This was a predestined fate. The marriage between Wu Dangkong and Jing Fanqing was something that Jing Xiu discussed with the Wu family head. Jing Fanqing entered the Heaven and Earth sect and became an important core disciple, was also the result of Jing Xiu's actions. Jing Xiu was a special person. He had no background and didn't have any fortuitous encounters or masters. He also didn't enter the Celestial Path sect to learn. Initially, although the Jing clan wasn't bad, it couldn't be compared to those supreme sage clans. 100 years ago, under his leadership, they slowly unified the Jing prefecture and established the Jing country. At the most crucial moment, they submitted to the heavenly talisman Immortal Emperor, saving them from destruction. Now, the Jing family slowly had the foundations of Saint World. Only Wu Dangkong understood how difficult this series of developments was. Jing Xiu's methods actually made her worry. Even with her strength, she had no choice but to let the Jing family have the biggest share in her merchant association. Even now, even if she obtained the heaven ritual decree, she had no confidence in facing Jing Xiu at all. Her cultivation was really strong, but compared to the undying body of Tao Realm 25 transformation, there was still a huge gap. Moreover, she heard the Wu family old ancestor say that Jing Xiu had a chance of comprehending the secrets of divergent numbers. Divergent numbers referred to heaven, divination, and fate. Divergent numbers referred to breaking away from heaven and fate. This realm was truly unbelievable. Niece Dangkong, you've really grown up. You're destined to be. As soon as Jing Xiu appeared, he said directly, "Do you hate the Heavenly Talisman Emperor and the Tranquil Immortal Department to the bone?" Yes. A look of hatred appeared on Wu Dangkong's face. The Tranquil Immortal Bureau must be destroyed, and so must the Yonko. Very good. Now let me ask you, if the Jing family immediately revolts, how will you respond? Jing Xiu was waiting for Wu Dangkong's response. Uncle Jing Xiu, are you sure you're not joking? Rebel immediately? Wu Dangkong's expression changed. Gu Taxian is still here. Not long ago, a talisman was sent from the void, naming the second emperor as the crown prince. Uncle, you must not act rashly. I don't care about that. I just want to ask you, if the Jing clan makes a move, what will you do? Jing Xiu looked at Wu Dangkong and locked his gaze on him. I can only bide my time and let Jing Xian Bureau and Uncle fight to the death. Wu Dangkong spoke the truth. She knew that she couldn't hide it from Jing Xiu. That is part of my plan. Jing Xiu nodded his head. But I want to borrow a treasure from you. How about that? I don't have any treasures to lend to Uncle. With your abilities, you have cultivated to the undying body of Tao Realm 25 transformation. You don't need any treasures at all. Wu Dangkong forced a smile. Do you think that uncle doesn't know? Jing Qiu took a look. Niece's cultivation has far surpassed Fanqing's. Fanqing relied on the black gate of heaven and earth to forcefully damage his lifespan and advance to the Tao realm's 22 transformations of heaven and earth. Niece has gone through the heavenly Tao divine light ritual, the Grotto Heaven ritual, and the Dharmaraja ritual, raising her potential to the extreme. She has the king of mana in her body, and her sea of consciousness and energy has turned into a grotto heaven. Even uncle can't compare to you. Only gods and saints can open their grotto heaven in the turbulence of time and space. It's impossible to open it in the human body. The human body can't withstand the power of time and space. Even I can't. If a god forcefully imbues the power of time and space into my body, I will die. Even the 3 celestial venerables can't do that. What do you think? Uncle, what do you want? Just tell me the truth. There are some things that don't need to be said out loud. Wu Dankong, calm down. If not for the help of your talisman, I would have had some difficulty suppressing the common people's wish sphere and killing so many people from the Celestial Commerce Department. There would have been fish that slipped through the net. Jing Qiu smiled. What I want to do is what my niece wants. Uncle is so confident in wiping out calming Celestial Department. That is impossible. Even the Heaven and Earth sect leader, Black Yellow Dragon Emperor, and Li Wanlong couldn't do anything. Is uncle stronger than those saints? Wu Dankong didn't believe that Jing Qiu could wipe out calming Celestial Department at all. That's because of the power of the Death Exemption Talisman. But now, the talisman's power is gone. Besides, even without it, those 3 saint-level experts wouldn't dare to wipe out calming Celestial Department. They're just testing us. They wouldn't dare to kill us. Jing Qiu's words hit the nail on the head. However, you can't understand my realm. Let's not talk about the calming Celestial Department. Uncle, do you have a way to deal with the Lord of 7 Stars, Zhuge? Asked Wu Dankong. Of course. Jing Qiu didn't seem to care in the slightest. At best, the Lord of 7 Stars is just a slightly more powerful saint. In ancient times, she was schemed against by the 3 celestial venerables and died. The Lord of 7 Stars isn't strong enough yet. I can destroy her. Mr. Jing Qiu, you sure talk big. At this moment, a voice rang out from within the sea of clouds. I've never seen someone as arrogant as you. A stream of magical power coalesced into a physical form. The person who had appeared out of the sea of clouds wore a crane's cloak and held a feather fan in his hand. He was young, and his feet hovered in the air. He looked like a peerless strategist from ancient times, someone who could plan for the world. This was the Lord of 7 Stars, Zhuge. As soon as he appeared, he smiled and looked at Wu Dankong. Her Highness, Concubine Ming, worked with me not long ago to foil the Yellow Dragon Emperor's plan. Why are you coming to deal with me today? Mr. Zhuge, Uncle Jing Qiu, this is a matter between the 2 of you. I won't interfere. Wu Dankong suddenly hit herself. She was very smart. She didn't want to get involved in this fight. Of course, she wanted to sit back and reap the benefits. Oh, so you're the Lord of 7 Stars, Zhuge. Jing Qiu's eyes locked on his Zhuge. He didn't care about Wu Dankong's disappearance. You do have some color, but that's all. Since you've come to find me, it saves me the trouble of looking for you. The Jing family wants to be the vanguard of the revolution, and you want to use this chance to borrow some mysterious fate to seize the key point and become an outlier. Zhuge sighed. You're too naive. If it were so easy to become an outlier, who knows how many people have broken through to this level? The 3 celestial sovereigns did it because they were ancient enough. Chang Weiyang of the profound Cosmos Gate relied on her father, Chang Yuzhou, to become one with the Tao and perish in exchange for a bit of life. Plus, she really did understand the workings of the universe and had countless fortuitous encounters. She stole a tiny leaf from the primordial tree, which gave her the resources to become an outlier. But she's still stuck at the Tao realm of 30 permutations, and she's only at the sage level. She still has a lot of tribulations ahead. She only has a 10% chance of jumping out of the 3 realms and out of the 5 elements. In other words, even if you gain enlightenment and become an outlier, your strength won't increase by leaps and bounds. Heaven and earth won't tolerate you, and you'll encounter all sorts of tribulations. Mr. Zhuge, you're talking a bit too much. Jing Xiu maintained his scholarly demeanor and didn't attack. In the world, it's not about success or failure. It's about whether or not you dare. You were the Lord of 7 stars, and your mission was to assist the Son of Heaven. Unfortunately, you betrayed your mission and turned to the powerful Gu Taxian. As a result, you lost your right to be the Lord of 7 stars. You've fallen into the ranks of the uncanny workmen. The ignorant are fearless. Zhuge looked at Jing Xiu with pity in his eyes. Jing Xiu, I admit I didn't expect your ambitions to be so great. You're vicious and merciless. You're willing to throw the world into chaos and plunge the people into misery and suffering just to give you an opportunity. You're doing things that even the 3 celestial sovereigns and the sages don't dare to do. You're amazing. Either you're crazy or you're truly ambitious. But given your ambitions and your strength, you don't want to be an outlier. Strength? Jing Xiu clasped his hands behind his back. You'll have to try to find out. I know that the Lord of 7 Stars plans are flawless, but did you realize that you can no longer communicate with the Life's Wish sphere? Without its help, your strength is the same as your true body's. Of course, I know you left some magic power in the sphere. Even if I kill your true body, you can be reborn. But that sphere belongs to the Jing clan. No matter where you hide, you won't be able to escape the fate of becoming a puppet of the Jing clan. Zhuge looked up at the sky. At some point, an invisible power had sealed off the area. He really couldn't sense the Life's Wish sphere. A connate spiritual treasure? Zhuge looked at Jing Xiu. I can't believe you have a connate spiritual treasure on you. Only a connate spiritual treasure born from the primordial tree can block the Life's Wish sphere's connection. You really do have something you can rely on. That's why you're so arrogant. But even a connate spiritual treasure can have a world of difference in power. This treasure of yours is far inferior to the black gate of heaven and earth, and it's not even as strong as the Life's Wish sphere. It's just a bit special. That's the first step. Jing Xiu looked up at the sky. Mr. Zhuge, in order to refine the Life's Wish sphere, you did something extremely stupid. You offended someone you shouldn't have offended. Coincidentally, I found that person and obtained this connate spiritual treasure. Mr. Zhuge, don't you want to know who that person is? Tell me about it. Zhuge arched his eyebrows. At this moment, a ball of yellow light appeared behind Jing Xiu. It kept changing, and a winged dragon snake appeared. The dragon snake wore an emperor's crown on its head, and it disappeared in a flash. Chapter 363. That's right. The North Star Empire is the ancestor of all demons. It's an existence that surpasses the 4 symbols and is the embodiment of the law of the earth. Back then, it gathered many demon sages to write the divine demon book and left its will in it as a means. However, does Mr. Zhuge think that he can really control the divine demon book just because he refined the will of the North Star Empire with all sorts of despicable means? Jing Xiu naturally had something to rely on. He actually saw the real North Star Empire. The yellow light behind him was the power of the North Star Empire. Of course, he didn't know where the real North Star Empire was. However, it had its eyes on Jing Xiu as one of its representatives. Not bad, not bad. No wonder you're so arrogant. You've been chosen by the real North Star Empire and became its pawn. However, the real North Star Empire should be in a deep slumber. You didn't obtain much, so you imparted some secrets and gave a connate spiritual treasure. If I'm not wrong, that connate spiritual treasure of yours should be called the Central Wutu Virtuous Flag. It's a connate spiritual treasure condensed from the Hongmeng tree. The North Star Empire obtained it and refined it for many years. It can strengthen the law of the earth. However, it can only defend and not attack. Zhuge didn't panic at all. With this flag protecting me, no matter how powerful Mr. Zhuge is, he won't be able to escape or cause any harm to me. It can be said that I'm already in an invincible position. Moreover, I'll seal Mr. Zhuge in this flag and mobilize the law of the earth. With the help of the power of the North Star Empire, he'll enter the world of the common people's wish sphere and refine its core to control this sphere. What do you think? Everything you've done is for the benefit of my Jing family." At this moment, it was unknown what Jing Qiu had done. Instantly, the entire mountain was enveloped by yellow lotus clouds. The yellow lotus clouds were the Khanate spiritual treasure, formed by the power of the central Wutu virtuous flag. However, this treasure only had the ability to seal and defend. It didn't have any substantial attack. Oh, Mr. Jing Qiu's schemes are truly profound, and he's advancing at every step. He has even surpassed some deities. With the help of the North Star's main body, it's true that you can pose a threat to our Celestial Calmness Bureau's sphere of common people's wishes. However, that's all. On the contrary, the central Wutu Great Virtue flag can be fused into our sphere. You actually possess the North Star's bloodline and the Azure Dragon's bloodline. Very good. Our Celestial Calmness Bureau is lacking in these two bloodlines. As long as we capture you, we'll be able to attain the consummation of the 5 elements. Zhuge did not launch any attacks. He merely watched as Jing Qiu performed his moves. Your tranquil, immortal department obtained the White Tiger bloodline. Jing Qiu frowned. This is beyond my expectations, but it doesn't matter. The outcome has been determined. Jing Qiu, what other trump cards do you have? Show them all, lest you say that I didn't give you a chance. Zhuge waved his hand. Now that things have come to this, Mr. Zhuge is still being stubborn. You really won't shed tears until you see your coffin. Jing Qiu smiled. Since that's the case, I'll activate my techniques and send you on your way, Mr. Zhuge. Well said. Won't shed tears until you see your coffin. Zhuge suddenly laughed, as if he had heard the funniest thing in the world. What are you laughing at? Jing Qiu asked. Since that's the case, I'll let you see your coffin. Zhuge's body suddenly straightened. Buzz above his head, a boundless space-time turbulence appeared. He could even faintly see some spatial and temporal faults, but he had no idea where they were. In the depths of the space-time turbulence, there seemed to be something like an ancient beast lurking in the deep sea. That thing was a coffin. The coffin was the color of an ancient stone. There were even iron chains wrapped around the coffin. There was an unparalleled power pushing the coffin. The coffin didn't stop at a certain place in the depths of the space-time turbulence, but it moved slowly. But every time it moved, it was in a different space from the world, or even at the same time. Just looking at the movement of the coffin in the depths of the space-time turbulence was enough to make an expert vomit blood. The power to bury the world. Zhuge said these 4 words. The coffin in the depths of the space-time turbulence seemed to hear Zhuge's voice and suddenly moved slightly. Suddenly, a huge shadow appeared above Zhuge's head. The power to bury the world came from it. Boom! The shadow of the coffin shook, and the clouds sealed by the earthen yellow lotuses shattered. Then, a small earthen yellow flag appeared in the air. The flag shrank back and let out a mournful wail, but in the blink of an eye, it was sucked in by the shadow of the coffin. The shadow of the coffin disappeared into Zhuge's body, and the flag appeared in his hand. It was like a magical treasure, and its aura merged perfectly with his. You! Jing Qiu's face fell. The world-burying coffin. That's right, the world-burying coffin. It's also a Khanate spirit treasure, but it's much stronger than your central Wutu Great Virtue flag. The previous Lord of 7 Stars used all of his resources and schemes to obtain this coffin. It seals away the mysteries of the 7 stars, preventing them from returning to the planet itself. Not even the 3 celestial sovereigns can find the coffin. They've always wanted to dig up Jiang Gongwang's grave and steal his treasures. Just now, I used this attack to take away the central Wutu Great Virtue flag. It seems the North Star Emperor doesn't trust you very much, and left you a trump card in the Khanate Spirit Treasure. Unfortunately, Jiang Gongwang supported the Son of Heaven and fought against the demon folk. He knew some of the primogenitor North Star's secrets and weaknesses. The North Star Emperor suffered a calamity in ancient times and is far from fully recovered. He used you as a pawn to take back his heavenly demon tome. Unfortunately, all of that was part of my plan. Did you really think that after I refined the North Star Emperor's will in the tome, as well as the Joss flame and faith power that Antu prepared for it, I wouldn't be on guard against the North Star Emperor? You're underestimating me, Zhuge. Zhuge reached out and grabbed at the Wutu Great Virtue flag. Earth-colored blood poured out of it, seemingly capable of transforming into mountains and rivers, capable of bearing the weight of all things. This was a supreme bloodline that surpassed the four symbols divine beasts, and could be said to be the pinnacle of demon folk. A bit of the blood entered Zhuge body, causing it to transform. It became deep and heavy, inseparable from the earth. In Jingxiu's eyes, it was like looking up at a tall mountain. After absorbing a bit of the North Star Emperor's blood, Zhuge tossed out the remaining blood and the central Wutu Great Virtue flag. The void split open, and an enormous sphere appeared, within which was another world. That was the common people's wish sphere, the calming immortal department's cornerstone treasure. Just now, Jingxiu had used the central Wutu Great Virtue flag to seal the mountain, but Zhuge had used the power of the legendary world burial coffin to break it, and at the same time, he had taken the treasure. Once the treasure was taken, the seal was immediately broken. Zhuge could once again sense the common people's wish sphere. Jingxiu watched as the treasure entered the sphere's world and fell into the heavenly demon tree in the center of the world. It turned into countless earth-colored lotuses and fused with the world's main body. Immediately, the world inside the common people's wish sphere changed. The soil and earth came to life, and each grain gave off a fragrance. The fragrance of the earth filled the interior of the sphere. However, Zhuge waved his hand, and the spatial tear closed, not letting Jingxiu see what was inside. This sphere originally lacked some maturity, and we couldn't control it as we pleased. But now that we've obtained the flag and the North Star Emperor's true bloodline, it's truly perfect. Once I obtained the Southern Third Flame Prairie flag, the Western 7th Metal Killing Destruction flag, the Northern 9th Dark Underworld flag, and the Eastern 2nd Wood Life Spirit flag, the 5-element Spirit Treasures, and the 5-element Sacred Beasts will all be combined. This treasure will have the mysteries of life and death, and it won't be any weaker than the Black Gate of heaven and earth. Zhuge's aura was completely different from before. Jingxiu, what else do you have to say? Do you really think that your plan to unite and unleash the universal strike will shake the Yonko S rule? You're just a bird that sticks its head out. Since ancient times, when have the first rebels ever succeeded? They're just paving the way for the true monarch. Killing intent flashed in Jingxiu's eyes. He had failed. He hadn't expected Zhuge to be able to communicate with the interstellar burial coffin and borrow its power to break through the seal in one fell swoop. Although he still had a trump card, he wasn't very confident anymore. Especially after Zhuge obtained the North Star Emperor's bloodline and fused the central 5th Earth Great Virtue flag into the Life's Wish sphere, suppressing the mountains and rivers within. The sphere's power now couldn't be mentioned in the same breath as it was before. One could see that in the depths of the space-time turbulence, the Life's Wish sphere had taken on an earthy yellow color. It looked like a planet and not a treasure. This was a gradual materialization. Treasures of this level were gradually unshakable by humans, and even gods couldn't do anything to them. Kill! All of a sudden, Jingxiu attacked. A long and narrow sword appeared in his hand, and it carried an unstoppable aura and heavenly killing intent as it stabbed toward Zhuge. In the blink of an eye, Jingxiu was in a daze, like the king of the netherworld. His sword didn't even need time to pierce into Zhuge's body. With such speed, there was no way anyone could escape. Any form of evasion or resistance would be futile, because this was practically the work of a god. This sword wasn't a physical body, but a manifestation of the godly power left behind by a god. After piercing Zhuge's body, the sword disappeared, and Zhuge's body instantly turned pitch black. Cracks appeared on his body, as though he was being pulled into an endless purgatory with no return. Chapter 364. The demon domain had countless spatial dimensions, layer upon layer, and no one knew how deep they were. This was the so-called multiple layers of hell. God Maha was in charge of suppressing the demons in hell and not letting them come to the endless land. Of course, God Maha was the king of hell and the king of the evil gods, so naturally, his role in teaching the demons was delayed. Thus, he left all sorts of marks and treasures in the depths of hell. The heavenly talisman Immortal Emperor was a god of good and evil. Good and evil, right and wrong were not important to him. Everything would go according to his will. Hence, since ancient times, the devil calamities that occurred were inextricably linked to him. But naturally, he wasn't willing to be suppressed and left behind many methods. Jing Qiu calculated this and was willing to be the vanguard. Naturally, he would receive the support of many experts. That way, he would be able to obtain the methods left behind by those experts. This 10 Hell's reincarnation sword talisman, with the speed of Jing Qiu's undying body of 25 transformations, it directly hit Zhuge Ye. Zhuge Ye was hit. Jing Qiu used his own technique to grab Zhuge Ye and refine him. His technique turned into a giant hand that pressed down, causing the world to spin and the sun and moon to lose their light. The black hand hung high in the air like it was stealing all the light in the world, causing the world to sink and the world to be destroyed. This was Jing Qiu's true ability. The ability that he cultivated was pure and extreme. Zhuge Ye, I'll let you see the true fist technique that I've been studying for 100 years. The fist of world overturning and overturning heaven and earth. At this moment, he seemed to have become a ruthless overlord who could throw the universe into chaos. When the heavens unleashed their killing intent, the stars shift. When the earth technique unleashed their killing intent, the stars shift. When a man unleashed his killing intent, the earth overturned. Jing Qiu comprehended the chaotic world Tao. His fist was also the chaotic world fist. Only in chaotic times will heroes emerge. Only when the world is never at peace is the way to progress. Since ancient times, the divine prefecture cannot be peaceful forever. The path of chaos is the path of cruelty, the path of elimination. Jing Qiu pressed down with his palm. Lord of 7 stars, today I will use your blood as a sacrifice to my Tao of chaos. Chaos is the foundation of eternal prosperity. The punch fell. Zhuge Ye was about to turn into dust. However, a lamp suddenly appeared above his head. It was ancient and bronze in color. Flames rose up from it, and inside of the flames were 7 stars. They seemed to contain power that had existed since time immemorial. 7-star lamp. Zhuge Ye only said those 3 words, and the lantern's power contained an unparalleled prayer power. It absorbed the sword qi in his body, and at the same time, it blocked the chaotic world punch. Jing Qiu's undying body had reached the 25th transformation of the Tao realm. When he used the chaotic world punch, he could rend mountains and rivers, form rivers, crush mountains, and overturn oceans. However, when the fist power landed on the 7-star lamp, it was like it had fallen into a quagmire. It sank deep into the ground, and all of its power vanished. Zhuge Ye had completely recovered his strength. This is my magical art. It's called the 7-star prayer art. I use my magic power to form the 7-star lamp, and I pray to the ancient 7 stars in the sky. I receive boundless life energy, and I have a true, undying body. Furthermore, after the 100 Worlds Festival, I can sense the power of the 7 stars in the sky even more intensely. As long as the 7 stars aren't destroyed, I won't die. Zhuge Ye said coolly, God Ma's cultivation base is that of the wretch God King, but he's no match for his majesty. Your chaotic world punch has some ideas, but it's too bad it hasn't reached a supreme level. Jing Qiu's face fell. He finally understood how terrifying the Lord of 7 Stars was. The Lord of 7 Stars cultivation base had reached a level he couldn't even begin to imagine. He had never guessed that the current Zhuge Ye wasn't just the Lord of 7 Stars, but rather the combined wisdom and experience of 2 generations of Lords of Seven Stars. If Zhuge truly obtained the legacy of the world-burying coffin, that would be his true achievement. Zhuge, I admit you're strong this time. Jing Xiu was already thinking about retreating. You want to retreat? Zhuge laughed. You plotted a rebellion, threw the world into chaos, and harbored evil intentions. You even ordered Jing Fanqing to assassinate a grand prince. Starting today, the Jing clan is exterminated. I'm confident that I can truly destroy your undying body. Right now, the workings of heaven are in chaos, and it's hard to divine the future. If you behave yourself and wait and see what happens, you'll be able to protect yourself. No one will be able to do anything to you, given your undying body's cultivation base. And in 100 years, you'll be able to close the gap between the Jing clan and the Sage clans. But you're too impatient for success, and you're even crazier than Jing Fanqing. Jing Fanqing entered the black gate of heaven and earth to cultivate, wasting his lifespan and abandoning his potential. You, on the other hand, are throwing away your future in your life. Is everyone in the Jing clan like this? Do you really have a gambling nature? Zhuge, you can't keep me here. Jing Xiu suddenly transformed into a golden streak of light as he prepared to flee. Unfortunately, the situation suddenly changed. The power of the stars and the surroundings formed chains that blocked Jing Xiu. Jing Xiu's body trembled. Countless golden lightning bolts exploded in the air, wanting to blast away the power of the stars and escape. But the power of the stars surged into the form of earthy yellow lotuses. These lotuses completely sealed off the area. This was really giving him a taste of his own medicine. You used the Central Wutu Great Virtue flag to seal off the area and prevent me from escaping. Now, I'll use the power of the flag to seal you. Let's see how you can break free. There's no rush. We could take our time and fight. Once we're done, His Highness should have killed Jing Fanqing and arrested everyone in the Jing clan. He'll punish you according to the law. Zhuge waved his feather fan. Are you feeling very anxious right now? Do you really think I don't have any other tricks up my sleeve? Jing Xiu turned around and cast aside all distracting thoughts. He knew that today was going to be a dangerous day. Zhuge, the Lord of Seven Stars, was much more scheming than he was. As far as Jing Xiu could tell, Zhuge was only at the 21st transformation of the Tao realm. He was far weaker than Jing Xiu and wasn't a match for him at all. When it came to scheming, Zhuge couldn't compare to him. But now it seemed he had completely failed. Every step was in Zhuge's grasp. There was nothing he could do about it. He hadn't taken into account the world-burying coffin. If he had, things wouldn't have turned out this way. The world-burying coffin belonged to Jiang Gongwan. He had used a secret art to conceal the workings of the heavens and suppress the profundities of the 7 stars within. He had to wholeheartedly fight against Zhuge, or he would perish here today. One wrong step led to many wrong steps. Now the Wutu Great Virtue flag had become Zhuge's, and Zhuge had also obtained the North Star bloodline, allowing the power of the common people's wish sphere to reach its full potential. As a result, Zhuge had completely reversed some of the loopholes. Come on, Jing Xiu. Let me see just how many tricks you have up your sleeve. How dare you throw the world into chaos? Zhuge knew that in order to suppress Jing Xiu, he would have to use some tricks. After all, Jing Xiu probably had other tricks up his sleeve. He had to suppress him at all costs. At that moment, Jing Prefecture's governor's mansion. Gu Chansha was slowly flipping through the files and calculating Jing Prefecture's government affairs, soldiers, provisions, security, cases, population, commerce, river transport, and land transport. He was multitasking, and as he calculated, he felt that Jing Prefecture could be run better. This was the start of familiarizing himself with government affairs. After all, he was much better than Han Wuqin, and if he learned a bit and put in some effort, he would naturally be able to do better than Han Wuqin. Buzz, he seemed to have gained some insights. At that moment, the space above his head split open and a stream of earthy yellow blood flowed into his body. North Star bloodline. Gu Qinsha opened his eyes and instantly understood everything. Haha, Mr. Zhuge has made a move. I didn't expect him to have such great power to be able to use the world-burying coffin. However, he can only use it a few times. This is Jiang Gongwang's power. The North Star bloodline was the law of the earth. After fusing with Gu Qinsha's body, the White Tiger bloodline, Vermilion Burr bloodline, North Star bloodline, and Black Tortoise bloodline began to circulate, and boundless power began to flow through his body. Kacha. His body reached a certain level of strength, like it was about to transform. But he suppressed that urge and calmed his soul. Next, I don't need to reach Dao Realm Transformation 20. I just need to get the Green Dragon bloodline. Jing Fanqing has the Green Dragon bloodline. As long as I kill him and extract the bloodline, I will be able to gather North Star, Green Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Xuanwu together. I will form my body and reach a supreme realm. Only then will I be able to control the Guardian King Ritual's King of Spells. Since Jing Xiao was restricted by Zhuge, without the strongest person, killing Jing Fanqing would be much easier. Jing Fanqing's cultivation had never been Gu Qinsha's match before. Now that Gu Qinsha had obtained the North Star bloodline, his strength had increased once again. The North Star clan was the ancestor of all demons. As the laws of Earth circulated in his body, his connate stellar chi and the power of his nascent spirit became even more vigorous. There was a fundamental change. Moreover, his body seemed to have reached a realm where no technique could be broken. Common People's Wish. Gu Qinsha used the power of the Common People's Wish Ball, and all the mountains and rivers in Jing province appeared in his mind. Moreover, he knew where Jing Fanqing was right away. So, his body flew up and rushed towards where Jing Fanqing was. Actually, he could rip open space and appear in front of Jing Fanqing. Jing province's Jing family didn't have a treasure like the Common People's Wish Ball, so they couldn't stop him. But using the ball to rip open space consumed a lot of the ball's power. Unless it was a crucial moment, Gu Qinsha wouldn't use it. He did some calculations. Every time he tore through space to teleport, it would consume 5 to 7 days' worth of energy from the Life's Wish sphere. If he used it a few more times, it would slow down the sphere's evolution, and it would not be worth it. Chapter 365. In Jing Prefecture, the place with the most troops was Chongqing Prefecture, which was not far from Jing Prefecture City. There were 30,000 troops, but they weren't equipped with Horned Dragon armor or Star Soldier armor. They also weren't equipped with Fire Talisman spears. This was something that couldn't be helped. Even now, it was impossible for all the troops to be equipped with Horned Dragon armor and Fire Talisman spears. These two things were really precious, and only the generals in the army could be equipped with them. Great Yang's army had hundreds of millions. If they were all equipped with Horned Dragon armor or Star Soldier armor, they would have swept the world. Actually, even the Calm Celestial Division's army wasn't able to equip everyone with such equipment. At the border of Chongqing Prefecture, there was a mountain. It looked like it was filled with lush trees and a narrow valley. It was desolate and uninhabited, but in truth, it was a secret base of the Jing family. This mountain had been hollowed out. Many formations had been set up in the belly of the mountain to absorb spiritual energy. Many disciples were cultivating here. This was the Jing family's training ground. Jing Fanqing was here. In front of him stood 5 people. They were Jing Xing, Jing Ji, Jing Xian, Jing Kong, and Jing Shui. These 5 people were the pride of the Jing family, and all of them were Dao Realm experts. Jing Fanqing was prepared to give 5 dragon creation pills to the 5 of them, even though he was reluctant. The clan had used his Azure Dragon bloodline to exchange for these 5 dragon-making pills. After you consume them, you will become unparalleled geniuses. After that, you will lead the troops and control the 30,000 soldiers of the everlasting Roaring Residence. Jing Fanqing said, "Right now, the commander of the 30,000 troops, Huidi, is only at the 2nd transformation of Dao Realm. I can kill him like a chicken." Jing Xing's cultivation was at the 3rd transformation of Dao Realm, Copper Skin, Iron Bones. Naturally, It was easy for him to deal with someone at the second transformation. Moreover, this realm was most suitable for large armies to charge and kill. At the second transformation, one's body could still be injured by swords, blades, arrows, and fire talisman spears. At the third transformation, copper skin, iron bones, there was basically no such possibility. It wasn't difficult to enter and exit an army of 10,000. The belly of the mountain was filled with spiritual chi. It was sealed off by a spell formation, and there were altars everywhere. It was several acres in size, and the entire belly of the mountain was dozens of kilometers in circumference. It was almost the size of a city. Within the mountain, Jingqiu used his powers to purify it. People outside couldn't see through it at all. Even if one cultivated to Tao realm transformation 15 heaven, eye hanging space, and could see into the ground, one wouldn't be able to notice anything. This was just one of the Jing family's bases. The Jing clan had dozens of such bases in Jingzhou, and it was unknown how much wealth they had accumulated. These were the foundations of a rebellion. I only need to bring 300 clan warriors, and I'll be able to destroy the 30,000-strong army and slaughter them all. Jingxing was very excited. Master, you have planned for so long, and you're finally going to act. From now on, I order the Jing family to rule the world again and change the dynasty. Master's strength is enough to support our Jing family to occupy half of the country. Moreover, once we succeed, we will kill Jingxianxi and obtain treasures. We will be able to fight against gods. At that time, swallowing the god province won't be a problem. As Jing Fanqing spoke, he looked at the belly of the mountain. What a pity. Our Jing family has worked so hard, but the family head can only find wild mountains and open up a mountain. The other saint aristocratic families have opened up their grotto heavens in the depths of the space current. It is thousands of times more convenient for them to train disciples than our Jing family. Having one's own grotto heavens was the foundation of a saint family. Moreover, the grotto heavens could gather faith power to become strong. The disciples of saint aristocratic families would have to conduct family sacrifices and worship their ancestors. This was also to accumulate strength for the grotto heavens. The Jing family lacked this. This was why Jing Qiu wanted a plot for the common people's wish ball. This was because even if Jing Qiu became a god and opened up a grotto heaven in the space current, it would still be very unstable. It could be destroyed at any time. Moreover, it was just an ordinary space. There was nothing in it. Disciples might as well cultivate in the real world instead of training in it. Those storage rings, bracelets, and bracelets could only be called storage spaces. They cannot be called grotto heavens. The so-called grotto heavens and blessed lands had to have a stable heaven and earth cycle, forming a small world of its own. This required thousands of years of nurturing, generations of painstaking management, and even more marvelous methods. Jingxianxi had obtained the Book of Heavenly Demons, which contained the primordial world evolved from many ancient demon sages. It was extremely stable. Jing Qiu naturally coveted it. All right, let's not talk too much. All of you know Master's plan. Here are 5 dragon creation pills. Consume them. After hesitating for a moment, Jing Fanqing took out the dragon creation pills. But just as he handed them to the 5, the dragon creation pills seemed to come alive. They suddenly broke free from his control and entered the hands of another person. This person was Gu Qinsha. He really did transform into a Qinsha, then reverted to his normal size and appeared in the belly of the mountain. Even though the mountain was heavily protected by formations created by Jing Qiu, they could not stop him. After all, formations were formations, and Jing Qiu was himself. Moreover, the mountain itself was made of ordinary materials, so the power of the formations created were limited. At most, they could only be used to deceive others. Gu Qinsha. Jing Fanqing was shocked. That's right, it's me. Gu Qinsha looked around the huge mountain that was dozens of kilometers wide. There were close to 10,000 Jing clan disciples. Very good. Jing Qiu has put in a lot of effort for his own ambitions. But he wants to rely on these 3 people to take over the world. He's too delusional. Gu Chunsha understood the overall strength of the Jing family like the back of his hand. The strongest was naturally Jing Qiu, and next was Jing Fanqing. There was also Grand Elder Jing Yunwang at Dao Realm Transformation 13, Jing Yunqi at Dao Realm Transformation 9, and 20 to 30 others who had reached Dao Realm. Overall, if one didn't consider Jing Qiu and Jing Fanqing, the Jing family would just be a second or third-rate aristocratic family. But with Jing Qiu, they were close to a saint aristocratic family. A supreme person at Dao Realm Transformation 25 Undying Body could live for another 2,000 to 3,000 years. That level of terror was indescribable. However, at this moment, all of his schemes had vanished into thin air. If Jing Qiu waited a few decades before attacking, the Jing family's strength would increase by thousands of times. But at that time, who knew what would happen to the calm, celestial department? They were developing so quickly that he couldn't wait any longer. Kill. Seizing this opportunity, Jing Fanqing launched an attack on Gu Qinsha. His body condensed and shrunk. He gathered all his strength at one point and turned into a sword. This sword was still the Xianmen demon descending sword. But compared to the assassination that day, this sword was much stronger. The sword slashed in front of Gu Qinsha. Gu Qinsha suddenly attacked, and a cage appeared in front of him. This cage was a tetrahedron and was formed from Gu Qinsha's golden pellet. Originally, it was really dangerous for the golden pellet to leave the body, and if one was not careful, it would be snatched away. That day, because of this, Gu Qinsha used the Xuanwu to snatch Gu Hua's golden pellet. He was sealed in the Sun-Moon altar and suffered a huge loss. But now, Gu Qinsha didn't care anymore. He wanted to end the battle quickly. The golden pellet was the strongest treasure. Along with the strength of his body and the endless support of it, Gu Qinsha instantly raised his strength to the maximum. The gold core turned into a tetrahedron and trapped Jing Fanqing. Jing Fanqing let out a roar and turned into countless bolts of divine lightning in an attempt to destroy the tetrahedron formed by the gold core. If it was someone else's golden pellet, it wouldn't be able to trap a Dao Realm 22 phenomenon of heaven and earth expert. But this was Gu Qinsha's golden pellet. The moment Jing Fanqing activated the lightning to explode, the golden pellet changed. It wriggled for hundreds of thousands of times and turned into a small common people's wish ball that squeezed inwards. Creak! Jing Fanqing let out a blood-curdling scream as a stream of green blood was squeezed out of his body. Green dragon bloodline. Gu Qinsha didn't even take a look and just swallowed the green dragon bloodline into his body. The moment he swallowed it, he felt like his body was filled with the 5 elements. His bloodline gathered into a giant current that started to change his acupoints and other areas. North Star, Green Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Xuanwu bloodlines were all gathered. 5 elements Saint blood, and also the 5 seasons God bloodline. Sun Moon Dragon blood. From ancient times until now, these bloodlines were supreme bloodlines that could stand at the pinnacle of the world. Right now, they were all gathered in Gu Qinsha's body, slowly being absorbed and refined by his own enlightenment of the Tao. Soul power extract. A huge amount of power rose up from within. It surged out from the various acupoints and meridians in his body. It was injected into the golden pellet. Gu Qinsha's golden pellet shone brightly and lit up the entire belly of the mountain. The belly of the mountain turned into a golden ocean. The light from the golden pellet had already turned into a golden liquid. Jing Fanqing screamed continuously in this golden pellet. The vast soul power in his body was extracted and infused into the golden pellet, increasing its might. In the end, all of Jing Fanqing's soul power was extracted, and he fell to the ground with a bang. He actually survived. However, he became an ordinary mortal with a body of flesh and blood. He was not even comparable to a martial warrior. He was completely helpless. With the golden pellet withdrawn, all the Jing clan disciples in the belly of the mountain seemed to have lost their strength. The martial arts that they had bitterly cultivated turned into nothing. Even their talent dropped. For example, Jing Fanqing was an unparalleled genius in the past. Now, his talent was that of a fool. This was simply an inconceivable method. When a person cultivated soul power, their physical body and primordial spirit would merge. Even if they were killed, they could not return to their original state. For example, it was almost impossible to return the dish to its original state after cooking it. However, Glyph did it. Chapter 366. Glyph obtained a total of 2 fallen celestial talismans from the common people's wish ball. One of them was obtained from the second prince, Glyph, who was now the crown prince. This talisman contained the wills of 3 celestial venerables, and it was no small matter. Unfortunately, Zhuge had used some methods to refine it into the sphere, which instead made the sphere complete and suppressed the will left behind by the North Star Emperor. The other was obtained from Jing Fanxing, who had used the banishing immortal talisman when Jing Fanxing tried to assassinate him. But this talisman was just ordinary and didn't contain the will of the 3 heaven venerables. It merged into the depths of the common people's wish ball and obtained many secrets. Glyph had been comprehending such a technique, but it was tough for him to succeed. But after merging with the Gochun bloodline, his body merged with the 5 elements and seasons. His body reached a rarely seen realm. With this, as his foundations, his golden pellet transformed. With the 2 of them working together, he was actually able to comprehend the fallen celestial technique. The most amazing thing about the fallen celestial technique was that it could strip one's talent and give it to someone else. This was an unbelievable technique. Glyph stripped Jing Fanxing of all his powers, cultivation, bloodline, and even talent, turning him back into a normal person. A talisman appeared in his hand. This talisman was similar to the fallen celestial talisman. It kept spinning and contained everything about Jing Fanxing. Of course, this talisman could only be used to craft treasures or to refine a strong existence. It couldn't be given to others. This talisman was formed by stripping Jing Fanxing of all his cultivation. If he tossed it to a stupid person, that person would become an expert at Tao Realm 22 phenomenon of heaven and earth. Normal people would just explode and turn to dust. Even golden core experts would explode and disappear from the world. Glyph's cultivation could slowly absorb it, but it was of no use to him. Jing Fanxing's talent was of no use to him. Glyph's talent had already surpassed Jing Fanxing's. Glyph's talent was of no use to him. After killing Jing Fanxing, he had obtained 5 creation dragon pills and a talisman condensed from his cultivation base. However, he had not obtained any Dharma treasures. At the 22 transformations of Tao Realm, lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, one's body could transform into all sorts of magical treasures. No magical treasure's power could compare to one's own transformation. Basically, at this realm, magical treasures were useless unless it was a god weapon made by a god or the legendary connate spiritual treasure. Unfortunately, Jing Fanxing did not have any of these. In the belly of the mountain, all of the disciples of the Jing clan had their cultivation bases and latent talents stripped away by banished immortal. The geniuses Jingxing and Jingji had become fools. These disciples did not even have the strength to truss a chicken. They no longer had the ability to do evil. The cultivation and aptitude of these disciples were also transformed into small talismans. Open. Glyph once again used the power of the life's wish sphere to tear open space. He sent the talismans, including the creation dragon pills, and even the talismans formed from Jing Fanxing's cultivation base into the depths of the life's wish sphere. At the same time, there were many pills, armor, talisman spears, as well as gold and silver stored by the Jing clan in the belly of the mountain. Glyph naturally would not let them go. He took them all and sent them into the sphere to become the wealth of the Celestial Commerce Department. The revenue of the Celestial Commerce Department accounted for 80 to 90% of the world's finances. With this kind of tax revenue, the Yonko would be able to build schools everywhere. At the same time, it would train officials in the army, expand the country's territory, and prosper. Seeing that Governor Han Wuqin was pitifully weak compared to the Jing clan, Gu Qinsha knew that the Yanko's government system needed to be strengthened. The Jing clan had almost caused a disaster this time. If the Wu clan, Legalism, Lei clan, Han clan, and Fan clan, or any of the other sage clans had acted at the same time, or even just one of them, the matter would have been extremely troublesome. The imperial court would not have been able to suppress it. After all, the Yanko had only truly unified the world in the 21st century. Although the government system was perfect, it was far from being able to compare to the thousand-year-old clans. Jing Fanqing, how do you feel now? Gu Qinsha looked at Jing Fanqing, who had become an ordinary fool. I won't kill you for now. When the government comes to arrest you, I'll punish you and see who can save you. The current Jing Fanqing was not even comparable to the heavenly sacrifice talisman he had received 6 or 7 years ago. Damn it, Gu Qinsha, don't get too full of yourself. Jing Fanqing was extremely resentful. The hatred in his heart was enough to drown the heavens and earth. Your Celestial Communist Department won't get any benefits either. I know that you use your magic power to create clones to assassinate many of the leaders of the Celestial Communist Department. Alas, it's useless. Can you still sense your magic power clones? We've already eliminated them. How could Gu Qinsha not have calculated this move? Gu Qinsha, as long as you don't kill me, I can still recover my strength. You're underestimating the Black Heaven Earth Gate's power. Jing Fanqing spoke weakly, as if he was having a nightmare. Very well. I actually hope that the Black Heaven Earth Gate will save you and help you recover your magic power at all costs. That way, I'll absorb your power again to feed my heavenly demon tree. Gu Qinsha patted Jing Fanqing's face, which was red and swollen. Jing Fanqing felt a piercing pain, and with a furious roar, he pounced at Gu Qinsha. However, as he pounced, he tripped over a rock and fell to the ground. His forehead was bruised, and fresh blood flowed out. I've really become a normal person. A normal person. Jing Fanqing was truly dumbfounded at this moment. Walking unsteadily, tripping over a rock, and falling to the ground to bleed. This was something that would not happen to a person with a bit of martial arts training, yet had actually happened to him. The moment he was born, he was a top talent and had extraordinary strength. He was sent to the Black Heaven Earth Gate to cultivate and had always been high above. He had never experienced such a thing before. A moment ago, he was at the Tao Realm 22 transformation phenomenon of heaven and earth. He could fly in the air and use spells to form all things, but now he couldn't even walk properly. Even a small hooligan on the streets could beat him up. The difference was just too huge. Gu Qinsha looked at the changes in Jing Fanqing's emotions and laughed coldly. His body moved, turning into dust and leaving this place. He didn't bother about Jing Fanqing anymore. These disciples had all become stupid and couldn't even pick up blades. They were just a bunch of chickens. He would leave the rest to Han Wuqin. He wanted to capture and kill Jing Fanqing, but now he changed his mind. He only used the banish celestial technique to extract his bloodline and power. He wanted to fish. So, he drilled into the mountain and returned to the governor's manor. Governor Han Wuqin had already given out many orders. At the same time, he gathered the generals to discuss matters. It was already night time when he waited for Han Wuqin to finish, so he wasn't in a rush. At that moment, Han Wuqin walked in and knelt down on one knee. King, I have already arranged the troops, bailiffs, and constables in the entire Jing State City. I have also contacted 6 Doors Arrest Division, Blood Iron Guards, and other government agencies to monitor the Jing family. But I suspect that there are spies from the Jing family among them. It is okay. It is time to clean them up. Gu Qinsha did not think much of it. In the face of great power, these things were nothing. He could use this opportunity to purge a group of traitors who were disloyal to the imperial court. Order General Huidi of Chongqing residents to go to the nearby mountain and capture Jing Fanqing and the Jing family's disciples. Jing Fanqing has been crippled by me, and all the Jing family's disciples have lost their martial arts. Yes, Han Wuqin was delighted and hurried out to give the orders. The rest depends on whether you can capture Jingqiu. Also, I wonder who the reincarnation of Xingqian will be in the Jing family? Gu Qinsha was thinking about these things. About 2 hours later, a voice suddenly came from outside. Blood Iron Guard's commander in Jing State, Tian Kong, requests to see King. Come in. Gu Qinsha frowned. The Blood Iron Guard belonged to the Blood Iron Marquis. It was the highest and most mysterious supervisory agency of the Imperial Court. Before the Calming Immortal Bureau, the Blood Iron Guard was responsible for arresting Dao realm experts among the people. They even monitored immortal Dao experts, arresting criminal officials of the Imperial Court. The Blood Iron Guard had a commander's residence in every state. The person in charge of the commander's residence was the commander of the army. His status was equal to that of the governor, but he wasn't controlled by the governor. He also supervised the governor and kept him in check. At the door, a person walked in. This person was wearing a suit of armor. He was tall and burly and had an explosive strength. The armor he was wearing was actually the Great Dragon armor. There were countless runes carved on it, and it was constantly gathering spiritual qi. Your Highness, this subordinate is the Iron Blood Guard's Jing Prefecture's Marshal Tian Kong. My armor is on, and it's inconvenient for me to participate. Please forgive me, Your Highness. This person clasped his fists without any etiquette, causing Gu Qinsha to frown. If he was wearing a full suit of armor, he definitely wouldn't be able to bow. However, he was wearing the Great Dragon armor. The armor could shrink and shrink freely. There was no such thing as inconvenience. This was the arrogance of the Blood Iron Guard's Jing State Commander. Why are you looking for me? Gu Qinsha asked. King, this subordinate would like to ask why Han Wuqin gave the order to capture all the Jing family disciples. I didn't receive any orders from above. It seems that King can't act arbitrarily for such a big movement. You have to send a report to the Imperial Court, discuss it in the study room, and have the Crown Prince issue the royal seal. Tian Kang's tone actually had a hint of questioning in it. Oh, so you don't agree to capture the Jing family disciples? Gu Qinsha smiled. Jing Fanqing tried to assassinate me. The evidence is conclusive. The Jing family rebelled and created chaos under the heavens. The evidence is also conclusive. This case will be handled by my Calming Immortal Department. Do you have any objections? The Calming Immortal Department deals with external affairs. As for the internal affairs of the Imperial Court, it will be handled by us, the Blood Iron Guard. In short, I still hope that King will follow the Imperial Court's procedures and submit the evidence of the Jing family's rebellion to the Imperial Court for them to decide. The Calming Immortal Department may be powerful, but you can't break the law and act unscrupulously. Tian Kong spoke with justice. Chapter 367. Anger appeared on Tian Kang's face. Your Highness, are you trying to frame me as well? What do you mean by frame you as well? Gu Qinsha grasped the flaw in Tian Kang's words. From what you're saying, I am framing the Jing clan. It's still the same thing. If your Highness wants to arrest the Jing clan, you must present the evidence to the Imperial Court. Then, the Imperial Court's upper study will make a public decision, and the three courts will hold a joint hearing before convicting them. This is the judicial procedure set by the Emperor and is also the foundation of the Imperial Court's order. Your Highness and the Calming Immortal Department cannot destroy this foundation. Otherwise, if the nobles blindly follow suit, wouldn't the world be in chaos? Countless examples from the previous dynasty have proven this point. Your Highness must not do anything that goes against the grain. Tian Kong acted like a loyal subject, admonishing him, his tone becoming louder and louder. Go against the grain? It was clearly the Jing clan that caused chaos in the world and almost plunged Jing Prefecture into a sea of blood. Why did you say that it was this prince and the Calming Immortal Department that caused chaos? Is this how the Iron Blood Marquis taught you? Gu Qinsha's gaze became sharp. Tian Kong did not budge an inch. I'm the Iron Blood Guard Commander-in-Chief in Jing Prefecture. I supervise the officials and the aristocratic families. The Calming Immortal Department's Merchant Association is also under the Iron Blood Guard's supervision. Now that your highness cannot produce any evidence, you want to mobilize the troops with the governor to destroy a large aristocratic family. This will definitely put the people of Jing Prefecture in danger. My Iron Blood Guard will definitely not stand by and do nothing. We swear to stop it with our lives. Stop it. Stopping the imperial court from encircling the rebels is considered a rebel and will be killed without mercy. Gu Qinsha waved his hand. Step down. I have already explained to you that the Jing clan is rebelling. You better know your place. Your Highness, I have also said that if your Highness is stubborn, I will stop it with my blood. Tian Kong said righteously, if the Jing clan is really rebelling, I will also stop it with my blood. Oh, I didn't expect to meet a loyal and filial son here. Gu Qinsha smiled. Unfortunately, your blood cannot be compared to the blood of the commoners of Jing Prefecture and the entire world. The Jing clan's rebellion will cause a chain reaction. The world will be in turmoil, and who knows how much blood will be shed. You cannot stop it, and will instead be an accomplice to the world. How dare you compare your insignificant life with the lives of all the commoners and officials in Jing province? If it weren't for Zhuge Ye and Gu Qinsha, Jing Qiu's rebellion would not only have affected Jingzhou, but also the neighboring prefectures. Millions of people would have been killed or injured. Your Highness, I have ordered that the Jingzhou troops are not allowed to take any action. I have also reported to the imperial court. By now, the imperial court should know about this matter. The crown prince, imperial concubine Ming, and many ministers of the upper study room will have countermeasures. Tian Kong sneered. Your Highness, don't act rashly. Otherwise, don't blame me for offending you. Very good, another traitor. Gu Qinsha sighed. Then, I can only let you be like Jing Fanqing. Your strength has reached Dao Realm Transformation 7, and you can leave the ground and fly into the air. He could be considered a top talent. He was more than qualified to be the commander of Jingzhou. But you colluded with the Jing family to try to hide it and drag time. That is unforgivable. When the Xiantian energy in your body rotates, it actually carries a chaotic aura. This is Jing Qiu's world flipping fist. He helped you break through from Dao Realm Transformation 6 to Transformation 7. When Tian Kong heard this, his expression changed, and he laughed coldly. Your Highness, if you want to blame someone, you can find any excuse. Gu Qinsha used the banishing celestial technique and was about to suck away all of Tian Kang's strength to turn him into a fool. Your Highness, please show mercy. At that moment, a voice rang out. Then, a large flag appeared in the courtyard and dispersed in a magic power. The magic power gathered and formed a human figure. This person had an aura of iron and blood. It was a middle-aged man, the Iron Blood Marquis. Dao Realm 22 Transformations, Astronomical Phenomenon, Iron Blood War Flag. Gu Qinsha nodded his head, as expected from the reincarnation of the ancient war god. Although he hasn't activated all of his strength, it is just a matter of time. Your Highness, please show mercy. Tian Kong might have been blinded, and he definitely didn't join in the rebellion. The Iron Blood Marquis cupped his fists. Moreover, Your Highness should have followed the law and reported it to the Crown Prince. Since the Iron Blood Marquis said that, then I would like to argue. The main goal of the law is to maintain justice, to be fair, to avoid killing, and to get rid of evil. If not for us attacking first, who would be able to stop Jing Qiu's bloodbath? Even if you were the reincarnation of the war god, you are no match for Jing Qiu. If we follow the law, the world would already be in chaos. This shows the weakness of the law. Since that is the case, then we have to change it. Since ancient times, there were no eternal laws, only eternal justice and fairness. The Iron Blood Marquis can't give up on the basics. For the rules of the law, we can give up on the people of a few states. That is a foolish way of thinking. His Majesty bestowed the medallion on us, giving us the authority to act arbitrarily. This is to prevent bureaucratic inflexibility, which might cause major problems. Gu Qinsha was in the mood to argue with the Iron Blood Marquis. Now that the situation was set, all that was left was for Zhuge Ye to capture Jing Qiu, strip him of his abilities, and reduce him to immortal. Although Jing Qiu was strong and had many trump cards, the innate numinous treasures, the central Earth Great Virtue Banner, and the North Star bloodline were taken away. These treasures melted into the depths of the common people's wish sphere, allowing the sphere's cultivation to reach near consummation. Not only did it save at least 100 years of evolution, but many people in the sphere also benefited greatly. This was especially so for Gu Chansha, who had obtained Jing Fanqing's cultivation and bloodline, which also contained the Azure Dragon bloodline, tossed them into the depths of the sphere. This way, the Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise, and North Star bloodlines gathered in the sphere. These bloodlines would form a power that could change the world. Your Highness, what you said is your philosophy. I have my own as well. In the matters of the Imperial Court, the words of the calming Immortal Bureau don't count. Neither do I. The Emperor has the final say. The Iron Blood Marquis sighed. Also, the Emperor has already appointed the Crown Prince, the foundation of the Empire. Even a king has to listen to the Crown Prince's wishes. If not, it wouldn't be a blessing for the Empire. Is that so? Gu Chansha coldly stared at the Iron Blood Marquis. Without a doubt, the 3 dukes and 8 marquises of the Imperial Court were truly loyal to the Heavenly Talisman Emperor. Now that the Heavenly Talisman Emperor had appointed the Crown Prince, they would naturally support the Crown Prince. However, Gu Chansha and Liu Baiwa both knew that this was the Heavenly Talisman Emperor's doing. Regardless of Wu Dangkong or Gu Xinsha, they were just being used. The true core was still the calming Immortal Bureau. However, it was hard to say this out loud. In that case, the Iron Blood Marquis also wants to stop this king from acting against the Jing clan. The calming Immortal Bureau is already established. There's nothing I can do to stop it. The Iron Blood Marquis smiled bitterly. I only hope that your Highness would prioritize the Empire and not allow the world to be torn apart again. What a joke. Gu Chansha waved his hands. Iron Blood Marquis, when Wu Dangkong was ruining the Imperial Court, you didn't say anything. Now that the calming Immortal Bureau is suppressing the evil, you actually came out to say such words? Are you afraid that we brothers would fight amongst ourselves and cause chaos in the world? This subordinate doesn't dare to. The Iron Blood Marquis was taken aback. Gu Chensh's words were too harsh. This subordinate didn't mean it that way. This subordinate is loyal to the Emperor and the Imperial Court. There's no falsehood in my words. He suddenly felt an immense pressure. In the past, he had always thought that the calming Immortal Bureau was merely a little trick played by the princes. But when he heard Gu Chensh's words, he finally understood. Unknowingly, the calming Immortal Bureau had already become a colossus. I know that. Gu Chensha didn't want to make things difficult for the Iron Blood Marquis. Let the calming Immortal Bureau deal with the Jing family matter. After all, Jing Fanqing tried to assassinate me. As for what the Crown Prince and the upper study room thinks, they won't care. Since that is the case, then I understand. The Iron Blood Marquis bowed and brought Tian Kong away. Tian Kong was now at Dao Realm Transformation 7 and was an important talent in the Iron Blood Guards. Naturally, the Iron Blood Marquis couldn't bear to let Gu Chansha trash him just like that. Gu Chansha also gave the Iron Blood Marquis face. The Iron Blood Marquis flew up and landed in the Jingzhou City Iron Blood Guards camp. Only then did he place Tian Kong down. Marquis, this matter. Tian Kong was about to say something when the Iron Blood Marquis said, "Kneel. Put on." Tian Kong knelt on the ground. This time the Jing family is plotting a rebellion. You were tempted by that Jing Xiu, and you have lost all the face of the Iron Blood Guards. The Iron Blood Marquis scolded. This subordinate is muddle-headed. Tian Kong didn't dare to retort. Many things are about to happen. The Iron Blood Marquis frowned. The calming Celestial Department has become a giant, and the Emperor has chosen a Crown Prince. We are in trouble. What is there to worry about? Iron Blood Marquis. At that moment, someone appeared. He had a long beard and was wearing a stone green robe. Marquis Dashi. The Iron Blood Marquis stood up. Please teach me about the current situation. A few days ago, Marquis Zhenhai broke free from the 19th Highness and suppressed the demon region. You know what happened? The 19th Highness planted the Heaven Demon Tree and absorbed the monsters. In the end, the monsters were terrified and didn't dare to come out. Marquis Dashi said, "From then on, Marquis Zhenhai recognized the calming celestial department and the 19th Highness. Actually, all of us are old, and the calming celestial department should be the pillar of the dynasty. The Lord of Seven Stars, Zhuge Ye alone, is more important than all of us combined. The Emperor has chosen a crown prince. No matter what the Emperor thinks, the crown prince is the center of the world and the imperial court. No matter how strong the calming celestial department is, it's only a supporting force," said the Ironblood Marquis. "Eldest brother, I don't think I'm wrong." "You're wrong. If the Emperor wanted the crown prince to rule the world, he wouldn't have allowed Wu Dangkong to oversee the nation. From ancient times until now, when the Emperor wasn't around, the crown prince oversaw the nation. That's the correct path," Marquis Dashi said. "We have to listen to the Emperor's intentions." "What does the Emperor mean?" The Iron Blood Marquis frowned. "The Emperor means to revitalize the nation's destiny." "We will follow whoever can do that," said Marquis Dashi. "From the looks of it, neither the Crown Prince nor Wu Dangkong can do it. Only the calming celestial department can." "Eldest brother, I understand." The Iron Blood Marquis thought for a moment, then sighed. Chapter 368. Zhuge Ye used the 7-star prayer art, and a 7-star lamp appeared above his head. No matter what kind of attack it was dissolved into nothingness. This Dao technique was a heaven-defying technique. In ancient times, Jiang Gongwang had used this technique to defend against the Divine Continent's #1 fiend, Xing Xiong, time and time again. This technique was known as the 7 Stars of Prayer, granting one an inexhaustible life force. The life and death of the 7-star lords, the Southern Dipper and Northern Dipper, revolved around each other. Life and death in a single thought. Jing Xiu used his Dao Realm 25 transformation Undying Body to activate his self-created world-flipping fist. When he struck out, the sky collapsed and the earth sank. Zhuge Ye, on the other hand, was steadily guarding Jing Xiu, using his dense magical power and divine arts to protect himself, slowly dissolving Jing Xiu's power. No matter how Jing Xiu attacked, he could not touch him at all. And every attack from Jing Xiu was absorbed by the central flag of great virtue of the earth, becoming the driving force of the will of the common people. In other words, each of Jing Xiu's punches was actually strengthening the life's wish sphere. The interior of the sphere of the life's wish had undergone a massive change. Gu Chunsha inserted the 5 dragon creation pills and the talisman formed from Jing Fanqing's magic power and bloodline into the life's wish sphere. All of this power was absorbed by the touch of Ghost and God Tree. Jing Fanqing had the Azure Dragon bloodline in it. Gu Chunsha had absorbed a portion of it, and the rest had been infused into the Ghostly Touch Tree. Coupled with all of Jing Fanqing's powers, the touch of Ghost and God Tree actually blossomed with fresh flowers in an incomparably alluring manner. The fragrance of the flowers filled the entire world, making people feel as if they were walking on clouds. Then, the flowers withered and fell into the ground, adding a new layer of vitality to the earth. Every time Jing Xiu attacked, the great desolate world within the common people's wish sphere would infuse some energy into it, causing the essence energy within the great desolate world to surge. The touch of the ghostly god tree was slowly digesting the North Star, Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise bloodlines. The sphere's wriggling increased in speed, and every time it wriggled, it absorbed a large amount of elemental energy from the depths of the void. Jing Xiu, none of your killer moves are useful to me. Instead, they're helping to speed up the condensation of the sphere. I have to thank you. With every attack you make, the connection between the central Wu-Tu Great Virtue flag and the sphere becomes closer. Zhuge Ye was observing Jing Xiu's changes. He was in no hurry. In any case, he was already in an invincible position. Zhuge Ye, you are ruthless. Jing Xiu's entire body was filled with murderous intent. He continued to attack with his fists like a violent storm. In between the attacks, boundless power once again surged forth. No matter how ruthless I am, I'm still not as ruthless as Mr. Jing Xiu. Mr. Jing Xiu didn't hesitate to spill the blood of the world in order to comprehend the divergent realm and obtain benefits at the same time. I can't be that ruthless. By the way, let me tell you that Jing Fanqing has already been stripped of all his magic power and bloodline by King Qin's banishing immortals. He's now an ordinary person. I didn't kill him, but the traps you've set up in Jing Province have all been accepted by the Celestial Pacification Department. The wealth you've accumulated over the years is truly astonishing. With your cultivation and 100 years of accumulation, the Celestial Pacification Department has really made a killing this time. Zhuge transformed the events in Jing Province into thoughts and transmitted them directly to Jing Xiu. Jing Xiu knew that his 100 years of planning had come to naught. Not only that, but the entire Jing clan would be annihilated. Only he knew how many treasures he'd plundered and how many pills he'd stockpiled in the depths of various secret camps in Jing Province. His magic power was so powerful that even the old antiques wouldn't be able to discover the formations he'd set up. In the entire world, there weren't many people more powerful than him. The Celestial Pacification Department is impressive. I've lost this time. Jing Xiu suddenly stopped. He knew that no matter what he did, he wouldn't be able to break through Zhuge Ye's defenses. However, Zhuge Ye, I'm afraid it won't be that easy for you to kill me today. I know you still have a trump card. What is it? Let me see. Zhuge Ye was intrigued. Aren't you known for your flawless plans? Jing Xiu's eyes were sharp, and he no longer looked refined. Then why don't you calculate what other trump cards I have? Since you're testing me, Mr. Jing Xiu, I'll naturally comply. Why wouldn't I agree to your dying request? Zhuge Ye looked at Jing Xiu with a smile. Suddenly, the seven-star lamp above his head emitted a dazzling radiance that shone at Jing Xiu. A faint purple light flashed across Jing Xiu's body. The Myrtle Imperial Star. Just as I thought, my calculations were correct. One of the members of the Jing clan will be reincarnated, and it turns out to be the Myrtle Imperial Star. And you, Jing Xiu, actually stole the destiny of the reincarnated member of the Jing clan. The Myrtle Imperial Star is a star that contains the aura of a monarch and is the king of divination. Although it's only a single star, it's incredibly powerful. It's almost as powerful as the Lord of Six Stars, if not more. It's very difficult for you to fuse with it, so you rebelled and founded a kingdom. That way, you'll be able to use the aura of a monarch to slowly fuse the profound mysteries of the Myrtle Imperial Star into your own magic power. Zhuge Ye's expression was very serious. Ha ha, you really are the Lord of Seven Stars. I can't believe you figure out my secret. Jing Xiu suddenly began to laugh maniacally. A violet star suddenly appeared above his head. It seemed to be the king of all kings, and it emanated boundless majesty. Be broken. The enormous star trembled. A ripping sound could be heard as it tore through the earth-yellow lotus clouds. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Jing Xiu suddenly transformed into a streak of light that shot out of the blockade. In a flash, he was gone. Zhuge Ye didn't pursue him. Instead, he sank into thought. So, the Myrtle Imperial Star appeared in the Jing clan? It seems Jing Xiu isn't crazy. He really did peer into the future and see the destiny of the Jing clan. He has the aura of a monarch. Mr. Zhuge, it seems you weren't able to kill Jing Xiu. Leaving him alive will only lead to endless trouble. At this moment, Wu Dangkong appeared. She had been hiding in the Sun Moon altar the entire time, watching the battle. Right now, her body was just an incarnation of magic power. Her true body was still inside the Sun Moon altar. That was just in case. That way, she wouldn't die. She wasn't like Gu Chensha, who didn't have incarnations. The heavenly Tao changes. Even I can't predict the future. Zhuge Ye was silent for a while. When the Myrtle Imperial Star appears, the universe will definitely be in chaos. This star is so powerful that even I can't underestimate it. If Jing Xiu really refines the profound meaning of this star and fuses it with his magic power, it will be difficult to kill him. However, he hasn't built a country yet, so there's no rush. This star is both an opportunity and a disaster. Mr. Zhuge, I want that imperial star. What do you think? Wu Dangkong was already drooling. Now that Jing Xiu has escaped, I can't do anything to him for now. Zhuge frowned. Fortunately, he's still under my control. Mr. Zhuge, you're so confident. Wu Dangkong thought. Jing Xiu is an expert with the undying body of 25 transformations. If he advances again, he'll be even more terrifying. He lost the central Wutu Great Virtue flag, a primordial spiritual treasure, and we obtained the North Star bloodline. That's a big loss. Zhuge looked into the distance. With this primordial spiritual treasure, we can refine it into the common people's wish sphere. The sphere will have the aura of a primordial spiritual treasure, and it will be easy to advance. Just based on this point alone, he no longer has any possibility of turning the tables. Mr. Zhuge is indeed powerful. This time, I originally thought that Jing Xiu's rebellion would cause Jingzhou to bleed and the world to be in chaos. But Mr. Zhuge resolved the crisis with a flip of his hand. Wu Dangkong said, "In this way, I don't dare to go against Mr. Zhuge anymore." Why go against him? Zhuge smiled. If you and I work together, we can scheme against the Black-Yellow Dragon Emperor again. We can sacrifice all the Emperor's energy that his Great Wei dynasty has painstakingly accumulated. We can obtain the power within. I guarantee that you can become an expert like a god in a short time. You'll be stronger than many of the ancient emperors. After all, the ancient population was sparse. Even if the world was unified, there wasn't much emperor's energy. It was far from the current Great Wei dynasty. Then everything depends on Mr. Zhuge. This time, Wu Dangkong finally knew how powerful Zhuge was. All right, I have a question that I would like to ask you for some advice. Is it because the sacrificial token is different from the ancient records? Is it because you're not born a saint, but you've obtained the sacrificial token? Zhuge already knew what Wu Dangkong wanted to ask. Wu Dangkong did not speak. He just looked at Zhuge. Actually, all of this is part of the Emperor's plan. I can only tell you that the first person to obtain this token was King Chen. A bright light suddenly appeared on top of Zhuge Ye's head. Sun and moon shine together. You also know the Emperor's God sealing technique? How is that possible? Wu Dangkong was taken aback. According to the rumors, isn't it said that only those who have this talisman can use it? When this token leaves, the cultivation technique also leaves. Wait, what did you just say? The first person to obtain this token was Gu Chansha? That's right. Zhuge's eyes seemed to see through Wu Dangkong. His voice was full of charm. Times have changed. The heavenly Tao has been distorted. The sacrificial token itself is a channel for the heavenly Tao to communicate with all things. The control of this channel is no longer in the hands of the heavenly Tao. Do you really think that the Emperor did not suppress the heavenly Tao? In the future, according to the trajectory of the heavenly Tao, it has completely changed. The Emperor used his boundless power to change everything. No one can see the real future. What the hell is going on? Am I not the future Emperor? Wu Dangkong's confidence seemed to have been completely destroyed. Chapter 369. Jing Xiu used the Myrtle Imperial Star to escape the seal. This disrupted some of the Department of Tranquility's plans and left a hidden danger. If this undying body of the venerable Tao realm expert of the 25th transformation went all out and assassinated him, it would be very difficult. Even the Life's Wish sphere wouldn't be able to take care of it. Jing Xiu couldn't be compared to Jing Fanqing. Zhuge, you would naturally know that Jing Fanqing had sent a magic avatar to assassinate him. He would then use the power of the Life's Wish sphere to sweep the avatar away and use it as nourishment. Jing Xiu could use the Myrtle Imperial Star to break the seal, giving him the ability to kill before the sphere was activated. Zhuge, you had to think of another way to deal with this. He had revealed some secrets to Wu Dangkong to greatly intimidate Wu Dangkong. He wanted to let this woman know that it wasn't her destiny, but that the heavenly Tao had been distorted. As expected, Wu Dangkong fell into deep thought. Mr. Zhuge, since that's the case, I'll take my leave. From now on, our Wu family will have no contact with the Jing family. Wu Dangkong expressed her stance. She was extremely wary of Zhuge. Farewell, Your Highness. Zhuge watched Wu Dangkong leave, then disappeared in a flash. Gu Qinsha also returned to the Life's Wish sphere. He could leave the Jing province matter to his subordinates. In any case, Jing Qiu had already been defeated, Jing Fanqing's magic power and bloodline have been destroyed, and all the treasures in the Jing family's secret camps have been swept away by the Department of Tranquility. Even if Jing Qiu returned, the losses wouldn't be too great. At this time, Gu Qinsha felt that he had to make a plan to get rid of Jing Qiu. In the center of the primordial world inside the Life's Wish sphere, the touch of Ghost God Tree had already covered a radius of several hundred kilometers. Its roots had seeped into many corners of the ground, stabilizing the earth. The 28 evil spirits formed in the tree were wrapped in the giant star egg, evolving into the appearances of the 28 Fey celestial sovereigns. After absorbing all of Jing Fanqing's magic power, the touch of Ghost God Tree had accelerated its evolution under the nourishment of the Wutu Great Virtue Flag. It's a pity that we couldn't take down Jing Qiu. His magic power is more than 100 times greater than Jing Fanqing's. Fuse him with the touch of the demon and god, and the tree will immediately evolve into a heavenly demon tree. When that happens, it will be extraordinary. Zhuge stood under the tree and sighed. Mr. Zhuge, Jing Qiu can't refine the Myrtle Imperial Star in such a hurry, right? Liu Baiwei also knew everything. He used the Myrtle Imperial Star as a Dharma treasure and cultivated bitterly. Although he broke our seal, he must have consumed a lot of energy, right? He doesn't have time to do evil for now. Zhuge nodded. He engraved his magic power into the Myrtle Imperial Star's profound mysteries in an attempt to refine it over time. To do so, he accumulated a lot of power in the Myrtle Imperial Star and was reluctant to take it out. It was only when I forced him into a corner that he took it out. But in this case, his refinement of the Myrtle Imperial Star's mysteries would be for naught, and he would have to start all over again. Unfortunately, it's the same for me. I've only managed to sense the power of the world-burying coffin after accumulating it for a very long time. I've only managed to use it once, but it's much more difficult to use it again. It's a good thing that we managed to recoup our losses with interest. This time, we've reaped a bountiful harvest. Jean Suibo revolved his body, and a scene of the universe appeared above his head. The 5 stars were aligned, rotating and circulating with each other, representing Jean Suibo's perfection. Jean Suibo had also obtained the 5 major bloodlines, which he fused into his own spiritual power. Now that his lawful embodiment of heaven and earth level was even more complete, he began to think about breaking through to the 23 transformations, past reflection. However, this realm involved time. From ancient times until now, the most profound secret of time was not to reverse time, but to use magic power to see and sense. Reversing time and returning to the past was something that not even the 3 great Empyreans could do. The past was the foundation of the present, and if one could truly go back to the past, then the foundation of the present would be destroyed. It was the same as having the power to cause the universe to return to chaos. Who knew how unbelievably strong that power would be? The 23 transformations, past reflection, and the 24 transformations, future reflection, meant comprehending the secret of time. Such usage of magic power was far from what the 22 transformations, lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, could compare to. With the same talent, the 22 transformations would be crushed by the 23 transformations. The usage of magic power was on a completely different level. For example, if the 22 transformations, lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, was a wooden sword, then the 23 transformations, past reflection, would be a black iron sword. If one touched it, it would instantly break. The nature of time wasn't simple, and comprehending it had a huge risk. If one wasn't careful, one would be lost in the river of time. One would lose control of one's magic power and explode into dust. After one cultivated magic power, one would be like a giant barrel of gunpowder. If one lost control, one's magic power would explode and one's soul would be destroyed. The higher one's cultivation, the more one would be walking on thin ice. One had to control one's strength well, otherwise one would definitely die. This was a rule. There wasn't a situation where the stronger one was, the safer and more relaxed one would be. The gains and losses of the Tao were all within this. In the past, Guchan Sha could kill enemies 7 to 8 realms higher than him. But now he felt that killing the 22 transformations, lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, was his limit. It would be tough for him to deal with experts at the 23 transformations, past reflection. Of course, he was at the 19 transformations, size manipulation, and he hadn't cultivated magic power. If he cultivated to the 20 transformations, then things would be totally different. But Guchan Sha still needed to accumulate for a period of time, so he wasn't in a rush. He would raise his golden pellet and body to a higher level. When he trained, he would be able to control it as he wished. The stronger one was, the more precise one would have to be. Guchan Sha didn't want to learn from Jing Fanxing and rush things. He wanted to forcefully raise his cultivation, which would lead to many problems. If he used the power of the common people's wish ball, he could forcefully break through and merge his golden pellet and body together, turning it into magic power. But that would be bad for his future comprehension. Originally, Guchan Sha was training in the demon region and wanted to accumulate a lot before breaking through to golden pellet. But he was assassinated, and after Zhuge Ye tricked Wu Dangkong into performing a ceremony, he broke through. But even then, his foundations weren't stable and it was a little weak. He knew that he had to do his best to strengthen it now. Moreover, he had a deeper understanding of the Tao of Divergent after these days of comprehension, so he wasn't in a hurry. Jingqiu is a huge, unstable factor. Liu Baiyue's cultivation had also improved greatly. She had also obtained the bloodlines of North Star, Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Black Tortoise. They circulated in her body, and she began to cultivate and comprehend further. Jingqiu has failed this time. Not only does he have to hide and lick his wounds, he also has to guard against some things. After all, it's not that easy to take the things of those big shots behind him. Zhuge Ye thought of many new strategies. I think there's someone who will be very interested in Jingqiu. We just have to keep an eye on him in the dark. Maybe we can get some benefits. Who? The fourth asked. F.A. Wuxian. Zhuge Ye spat out 3 words. This man has the aptitude of a born sage. He was originally the most outstanding one among the younger generation in the Divine Land. Unfortunately, since I was born, he has lost his brilliance and has hidden himself. I don't know what he is preparing. In fact, this man has always wanted to kill me, but he is not sure. He had not appeared this year because he was comprehending a secret technique. Then, he would search for treasures outside in an attempt to amaze the world with a single brilliant feat. This was his best chance. If he could assassinate Jingqiu and take the Myrtle Imperial Star, he would be able to do so. You'll have the capital to contend against me. F.A. Wuxian shouldn't be able to do anything to Jingqiu. Guchan Sha asked, if I am right, F.A. Wuxian's cultivation is at Tao Realm 22. He might be comprehending the secrets of time. Even a saint wouldn't be able to comprehend the secrets of time. One had to comprehend the changes in the world, such as birth, sickness, and death. Cultivating in the mountains was very difficult to comprehend because there was no sense of time in the mountains. Even if it had been 100 or 200 years, the scenery would still be the same. But in the human world, a mere 10 years could completely change the scenery. This was why in ancient times, after many celestials cultivated to the 22 transformations of Tao Realm, they would come to the human world and leave behind many legends. For example, there were many records of celestials playing in the human world, turning stone into gold, turning into animals, mountains, and using spells to play with evil people and bullies. Sometimes, celestials would even enter the court to explain the Tao to the emperor. All of this was to comprehend the secrets of time. In just a few decades, the world of mortals had changed. Things remained the same, but people had changed. Time changed so quickly that it was inconceivable. Therefore, even the ancient human sages gained enlightenment in the world of mortals. They passed down their ancestral teachings that the members of their families must live in the world of mortals and protect the human race. This was also the reason why many saint families lived in the human world. Fa Wuxian was still young. Even if he was a saint, he would need some time to comprehend the secrets of time. Fa Wuxian will definitely find Jing Qiu. Zhuge Ye said, King Chun, we will have to rely on you to capture Jing Qiu. Your mission is to keep a close eye on Jing Qiu and see what he can do. This is really dangerous. Chen Shai isn't Jing Qiu's match, Liu Baiwa said. Chapter 370. As he spoke, Zhuge Yezhuo moved again, and a secret message about the Myrtle Dipper entered the depths of Gu Chencha's mind. Gu Chensha immediately comprehended it. Through the life's wish sphere, he looked at the starry sky and the real world, and then the Myrtle Imperial Star entered his eyes. With his current eyesight, even if it was daytime, he could clearly see these stars that had existed for an unknown number of years and months. They were permanently hanging in the sky, and each star seemed to contain layers of space-time, giving rise to endless changes. The power of the stars was almost limitless. They didn't seem dead, but alive. Or rather, they were manifesting their power due to some kind of change in the heavenly Tao. As for the Myrtle Imperial Star, the power contained within it was greater than any of the other stars. It had the majesty of an emperor, and it was unfathomable. It seemed that only peerless kings could win the Myrtle Imperial Star's favor. Stars filled the sky. Some of them were small, while others were large. Just like humans, there were countless living beings. Some were weak, while others could overturn rivers and seas. They manipulated the heavenly Tao, created life and death, and created new worlds. In the blink of an eye, a speck of dust could transform into a vast universe. The difference in the power of the stars was even greater. In Gu Chencha's eyes, some stars were only a few times the size of the divine continent, while some ancient stars were boundless and majestic. The Myrtle Imperial Star was neither too big nor too small among the many stars, but its aura was unique. The entire star was surrounded by a purple aura, and in the deepest depths, there seemed to be a mysterious power wriggling, as if it was connected to another world. The Myrtle Imperial Star and the immortal realm were inextricably linked. It was as if the entire star was a passageway to the immortal realm. Gu Chansha used his star power slightly, and a wisp of starlight pierced through the air, gathering in his hand and forming a small talisman. This talisman was purple, and it was the power of the Myrtle Imperial Star's stars. When this power gathered, it was 50% similar to immortal qi. Gu Chansha now knew that the so-called spiritual realm and immortal realm were just names. The spiritual realm was a huge dimension, and that dimension was filled with spiritual qi. The immortal realm was the same, except that it was filled with immortal qi. Logically speaking, cultivators below Tao Realm 19 shouldn't be able to absorb celestial energy and refine celestial energy. If one tried to absorb it, it would be like a mortal swallowing gold. It was a suicidal action. Only by cultivating magical power could one refine immortal energy, unless he had mastered the Great Massacre God technique. It was the same for the Myrtle Imperial Star. Blade come! Gu Chensha stretched out his hand and made a grabbing motion. A treasured saber flew over from afar. This saber was also made of 100 refinements profound steel, and it could cut through iron like mud. This was the wealth that he had obtained from the Jing clan's secret camp. On the market, this treasured saber was worth quite a bit of money. Holding the 100-tempered profound steel saber in his hand, Guchansha used the artifact refining technique and infused the crepe myrtle star power into the saber. But with a cracking sound, the blade crumbled into dust. It was actually unable to withstand the power of the Myrtle Imperial Star. As expected, the Myrtle Imperial Star's star power is really overbearing. Guchansha grabbed once more and the dust gathered. Under the condensation of his pill power, it turned into a Xian steel saber. He then used the star refining technique. At that moment, dozens of streaks of star power landed and gathered on the saber. They flowed and a rainbow light gathered, turning the saber into a star steel saber. The sharpness of the star steel saber could slay someone at Tao Opening Realm Transformation 3. Moreover, it had the power to destroy evil and wouldn't be corroded by demonic energy. There were billions of stars in the sky, and each star had its own unique power element. All the sects had the star refining technique. When the star power was combined, the strength of the treasures would be different too. Calming Celestial Department's usage of the star power far exceeded that of the Celestial Path Shinmen sect. This was because they comprehended the Son of Heaven God sealing technique, Great Massacre God technique, 10,000 star flying celestial technique, Sky Demon Book, and many other techniques left by Jiang Gongwan. Guchansha was especially good at using the star power to refine treasures, exorcise demons, cultivate, and build. He was now analyzing the characteristics of the Myrtle Imperial Star and using the Myrtle Dome numerals. The Myrtle Imperial Star benefits the world. When the Emperor is angry, the universe bleeds. When the Emperor is virtuous, the people are grateful. Guchansha's fingertip circulated core chi. With another move, the Myrtle Imperial Star power evolved into a purple aura. It wasn't the characteristics of immortal energy, but it was similar to the Emperor's dragon energy and the aura of the Son of Heaven. This aura entered the star steel saber. The saber trembled 1,000 times and floated in the air like an emperor looking down on the world. Good. Zhuge clapped his hands. Your Highness grasped the secret of the Myrtle Dome numerals so quickly. To be able to transform the tyranny of the Myrtle Imperial Star into the gentle power of the benevolent Tao of the benevolent Emperor, it can be said that you understand the principle of celestial evolution. The Myrtle Imperial Star is indeed powerful. Even highly cultivated immortals might not be able to control its power. Guchansha meditated for a moment. I've already thoroughly understood the profound mysteries of the star. No wonder Jing Xiao couldn't refine it. Then your Highness can track down Jing Xiao. I've already used a secret art to disrupt your heavenly workings, making it impossible for Jing Xiao to divine anything. Zhuge, you said, if your Highness can track down Jing Xiao and even have a chance to capture and kill him, then you'll definitely have the opportunity to comprehend the true secrets of Divergent. Perhaps it'll help me escape my fate as the Lord of Seven Stars. Although the Lord of Seven Stars was a sage monarch, she couldn't escape the fate of becoming one with the Tao. She couldn't escape the 3 realms and 5 elements. At most, she could cultivate to the 36 transformations, embodiment transformation. Zhuge, you wanted Guchansha to comprehend the realm of Divergent and point out a bright path for him. This was Guchansha's best chance. With my Tao realm cultivation of 19 transformations, I'll be able to hunt down an expert with a 25 transformations undying body. This has never happened before in all of history. Guchansha, on the other hand, was filled with excitement. If I succeed, then I'll have gained quite a bit. Your Highness, please go. I still need to fuse the Khanate spirit treasure, the Wutu virtue flag, into this sphere. At the same time, I hope it can stabilize my 5 bloodlines and recreate this minor world. Unfortunately, there's too little Azure Dragon bloodline. If there's enough, the Great Desolate World and the Ghost God Touch Tree will quickly grow. In less than a year, it'll be called a Heavenly Demon Tree. Zhuge waved his hand. Guchansha knew that the Azure Dragon was a Khanate wood spirit that controlled all types of wood. It would be extremely beneficial to the Heavenly Demon Tree. He leaped out of the sphere and returned to his land. He then used the Sun and Moon Talisman's invisibility talisman to hide his body and start to chase after Jing Qiu. At this moment, Zhuge Ye and the others in the common people's wish sphere received a report. Jing Fanqing and some core members of the Jing family have all disappeared. It seems like they've been rescued. This was news from Yizheng. Yizheng was in charge of the coming Celestial Bureau's attack on the Jing family. He was originally the Hell Serpent Temple's pope and had cultivated the 17th transformation, the Tao-splitting divine clone. But now, he had cultivated to the golden core of the great Tao and was extremely strong. He was vicious and merciless when he led the team to attack the Jing family. But just as he started to wipe out the entire family, all the core members of the Jing family disappeared. Without a doubt, they had been rescued by Jing Qiu. As expected, but it doesn't matter. Gu Qinsha also received this news. His mind was constantly connected to the common people's wish sphere, so he knew all kinds of information like the back of his hand. Jing Fanqing, I'm still waiting for him to recover his strength. As he flew, he was already far away from the border, heading northwest. To the east of the Divine Continent was the eastern wastelands, filled with endless mountains. To the south was the wilderness, to the west was the ocean, and to the north was the boundless desert. The eastern wastelands was where the mystical sects of the immortal path resided. To the south was the barbarian tribe, and to the west were the many overseas countries. Across the vast ocean was the great Might dynasty in the west. As for the northern desert, it was mostly uninhabited. But in some of the very deep deserts, small countries had been established here and there, and there were also merchants and adventurers who came and went, selling things like silk and porcelain to the desert countries. Because the desert was desolate, it was often yellow sand for thousands of miles. It was not like the barbarian forest, which was dangerous but rich in resources. So Yanko did not send troops to conquer the small countries deep in the desert. And at this moment, the direction in which Jing Qiu was fleeing was actually the depths of the desert in the northwest. Gu Qinsha used the amethyst dipper divination to sense the profound meaning of the myrtle imperial star and grasp the direction in which Jing Qiu was fleeing. He was extremely careful in his pursuit, because the further he went from his fief, the weaker his sense of a life's wish sphere. If he really entered the depths of the desert, he might not even be able to sense the sphere's existence. He flew quickly, but not only did he hide his body, he also became extremely small, like a speck of dust floating in the air without the slightest aura. If it were any other expert, using the size of their physical body at will, changing it to an extremely large or small size would consume a lot of the power of their Jindan, and they would not be able to maintain it for long. But Gu Qinsha's Jindan power was extremely vigorous, and his body also had the bloodlines of the Sun Moon Dragon, North Star Dragon, Azure Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, Black Tortoise, and the Five Seasons deity. With all kinds of wondrous methods, his body was many times stronger than ordinary cultivators. His physical body could change in size for a shocking period, and it would not matter even if he could maintain the speck of dust for tens of days. Ordinary experts would only last for 2 hours before their Jindan power was exhausted. And more importantly, even if ordinary experts changed their size, it was difficult to hide the fluctuations of their Jindan power. But Gu Qinsha's body had a space left behind by the heavenly grotto ritual, and all the Jindan and power were hidden in the depths of that space. This way, even Jing Qiu would not be able to discover it. This was his greatest reliance and method to hide from Jing Qiu. The rolling yellow sand, the blazing sun high up in the sky, could turn any living creature into withered bones. At this moment, Gu Qinsha had truly become Qinsha, and he blended with the yellow sand in the sky, becoming indistinguishable, making it even harder to discover him. Chapter 371. After flying for 3 days and 3 nights, Gu Qinsha entered the depths of the desert. Looking down from high up in the sky, there were actually many oases in the desert. The desert oases were surrounded by lakes, date palms, and some desert rivers. If there was water, there would be life, and there were many cities and villages within the oases. All of them were quite orderly, and there were many soldiers riding on camels. This oasis has at least a few hundred cities connected to one another. There are tens of millions of people here, and it has already become a giant empire. There is actually such a faction in the desert. Guchen Shah was shocked. However, after flying out of the God continent and heading toward the northwest desert, it took him 3 days and 3 nights to reach this place. This wasn't something that a human could reach. With his current speed, he could probably travel 1,000 miles in an instant. The distance he flew in 3 days was enough for someone at the Dao Rel Transformation 7 to fly in the air to reach this place. This kind of speed was so far away from Great Yong that there wouldn't be any contact at all. The tens of millions of people could compare to the Great Yonko. It was the size of the Xian dynasty in the past. Jingqiu's aura was in the largest oasis. The city in the oasis was majestic like a palace. Could it be that this huge desert empire was established by Jingqiu? If that is the case, then this person really has the ambition to swallow the world. Guchen Shah was shocked. Guchen Shah arrived at the edge of the oasis. He didn't reveal his body and continued to hide. He didn't dare to get too close as he was afraid that Jingqiu would notice him. In this oasis city, there were many people and the country was strong. There were all sorts of craftsmen and craftsmen. Apart from that, there were also some strong barbarian race people. However, they didn't have evil energy and had been transformed into normal laborers. Of course, most of the people here were the natives of the desert. Moreover, there was an aura of culture and all sorts of education. Martial arts, culture, and techniques were all really complete. Originally, Guchen Shah could have used the heavens, suspending technique to observe the situation of this empire in an instant. However, Jingqiu was here. If he used such a method, he would be courting death. Outside the oasis, many people were digging ditches and building new cities. It was clear that the population had increased, and many cities could not hold people anymore, so they could only rebuild. These people used yellow sand and a kind of gelatinous substance to turn them into huge hard bricks, which made Guchen Shah gasp in amazement. In this way, it would be very easy to build a city and houses. They were tall and majestic. In the desert, there is black oil that can be ignited. After refining, it can secrete all kinds of gelatin and oil. Guchen Shah recalled some records. There were no trees in the desert, so it was impossible for people to gather firewood to cook. However, there was a type of black oil that could be used to light fires. This could be said to be a miracle of nature. The people here built cities and planted trees. Those trees were extremely drought-resistant plants. They could also bear fruits, which were rich in starch and could be used to make bread. Guchen Shah had never seen this plant before. However, after taking a look, he knew that this plant had been nurtured with celestial magic power and was most suitable for the desert's climate. Moreover, it could stabilize water. Many people were in full swing building, planting, reclaiming, and creating oases in the desert. Unexpectedly, it was unprecedentedly simple. Suddenly, the sound of a bell rang out from a distant city. At that moment, hearing the sound of the bell, everyone immediately put down what they were doing and knelt on the ground, continuously worshiping and muttering piously. As soon as the bell rang, everyone, including the army, knelt down and started to pray. It did not seem like they had been brainwashed, but they were sincerely thanking God. In that instant, Guchen Shah saw millions of people, no matter where they were, whether they were working or doing urgent work, put down everything, kneeled down, and prostrated themselves on the ground. He was shocked. The bell rang out 9 times, and after everyone formed the 3 kowtows and 9 kowtows, they muttered a strange scripture. At that moment, a dark cloud floated over in the sky, followed by crackling thunder, and it started to rain. Oh. Seeing this, everyone who had prayed cheered and yelled in a frenzied state. The downpour lasted for a full 15 minutes, drenching the desert. Everyone sang and danced in the rain, cheering and jumping, and a wave of vitality was brewing. Even though Gu Chansha could not understand the language those people were shouting, the meaning was clear. God has shown himself. Thank God. Magic? Create clouds and bring rain. Gu Chansha could tell that the downpour and dark cloud had been caused by someone using a peerless magic, moving water from who knew how far away and turning it into a dark cloud before descending. Gu Chansha also knew this kind of method, but it was not as exquisite and traceless. Moreover, there was a lack of water in this desert. Even though there were oases, lakes, and rivers, the water was not drawn from them but from the distant ocean, tens of thousands of kilometers away. No matter how powerful Gu Chencha's astral energy was, he could not do this. This was evidently Jing Qiu's method. Let's see what is going on. Did Jing Qiu create a desert empire here? He used all sorts of spells to make people think that he is a god. Gu Chansha, who had turned into a grain of sand, got close to an army general. He used his soul tentacle to search his soul and observe his memories. The general felt dizzy for a moment before returning to normal. Gu Chansha, on the other hand, got what he wanted to know. With his current cultivation, he didn't need to pretend to be a normal person to ask for information. He could casually use his soul to search someone's memories, and it wouldn't cause any damage to them. If a Tao Realm 12 transformation soul, snatching realm cultivator, forcefully searched someone's mind or controlled them, it would cause damage to the soul of the person being controlled. It might even turn them into idiots. But Gu Chansha had unknowingly stolen their memories. Even a golden core expert wouldn't be able to block him. Thinking about it, even someone like Jing Fanxing, who was at the 22 transformation divine phenomenon of heaven and earth, was easily reduced to a mortal, much less someone at the 18 transformation Great Tao Golden Core. This place is called Sama Desert. 100 years ago, it split into many small cities and was scattered across many oases. A young man called Ironwood Khan received guidance from the god and built an army. He defeated many cities and built the strong Sama Empire. To thank the god, he built many temples and religions to serve the god. This religion is called Qiu religion. Gu Chansha digested all the information in his mind. It was actually really simple. 100 years ago, Jing Qiu came here and gave pointers to a young man to build an empire and then worship his god. 100 years of influence, building a religion, expanding population, building cities, and expanding to such a stage in the depths of the desert. Originally, the desert lacked water and food, but with the spells of a celestial, all of that could be solved. This was especially so for someone like Jing Qiu, who had cultivated the undying body of the 25 transformations of the Tao realm. His magic power divine art was enough to move mountains tens of thousands of miles away. After understanding the situation here, Gu Chansha was more and more shocked. This Jing Qiu is really talented. His methods of building a country are similar to my father's. Compared to him, Jing Fanxing is just a playboy. Jing Qiu and Jing Fanxing's talents were similar, and they were both top geniuses. But what the two of them did was like the difference between heaven and earth. From this, one's talent didn't determine one's future achievements. A giant desert empire with tens of millions of people, a country with a religion. Everyone from the nobles to the slaves all believe in the god. Politics and religion are one. Gu Chansha thought about it. Looking at the situation where everyone worships him, everyone is united. That is quite amazing. Jing Qiu's ambition is really obvious. Here, Gu Chansha was unable to sense the common people's wish ball. He had to be really careful, otherwise if Jing Qiu noticed him, he would definitely die. Jing Qiu built a giant empire in the desert. This place was far away from the godland and was a barren land. Although there was a lack of resources, it was good for development. Moreover, there were many treasures in the desert. In ancient times, the desert had fertile land, but things changed. There was black oil and all sorts of minerals underground. Mr. Zhuge said that I can only wait for a chance. Gu Chansha dug into the ground and hid. Wait for Fa Wuxian and Jing Qiu to fight. Then, I will take advantage of them. Is Mr. Zhuge sure that Fa Wuxian and Jing Qiu will fight? After he hid, he secretly observed the operation of the entire desert empire, including the culture, knowledge, and the situation of the officials. From this, he could see Jing Qiu's thinking. The Sama Empire had all kinds of advanced craftsmanship. The forging of swords was also extremely sharp. They even knew all kinds of mechanical skills. The aristocratic upper class was also very rich in etiquette. They had their own language and art. Music, dance, and dance were all unique. This language was actually created by Jing Qiu. It was called Jingwen. It seemed that Jing Qiu didn't just want to build an empire. Instead, he wanted to create a civilization similar to the Godland, everlasting and passed down from generation to generation. This was an unyielding ambition. At present, the civilization of the Sama Empire was far from the civilization of the Godland. However, it was slowly becoming richer. Jing Qiu could live for 3,000 years, or even longer. In such a long time, the empire would continue to expand, and he would definitely be able to build a vast and great civilization. At first, Gu Qinsha thought that Jing Qiu was arrogant and conceited. Now, it seemed that he was not arrogant and conceited. He really had the great ambition to swallow the world and reverse the yin and yang. Chapter 372. Gu Qinsha hid underground and then separated a trace of Dan Qi, attaching it to the sea of consciousness of a soldier captain. From his point of view, he saw the entire Sama Empire civilization, religion, education, craftsmen, songs and dances, poetry, laws, and all sorts of local customs. He was very curious about the civilization that Jing Qiu had created. He didn't look down on it at all. A cultivator treated himself as a god and created a prosperous civilization. He wanted to strengthen it and pass it on for thousands of years. That in itself was a great achievement. From a certain perspective, the Heavenly Talisman Emperor was the founder, and so was Jing Qiu. Both of them were doing the same thing. However, the Heavenly Talisman Emperor wanted to reorganize the divine continent. It involved the gods, immortals, monsters, barbarians, saint families, and even the demon region. It was extremely complicated. Such a huge matter was far more difficult than forming a small country in the desert. But both of them had the same starting point. No wonder Jing Qiu has such achievements. The Sama Empire he created has many good points. If he takes care of it and nurtures it, within 100 years, the population can increase by 10 times. Gu Qinsha observed and thought. He discovered some key points of the common people heaven mending technique. There are two theories now. One is that heaven and earth are heartless and treat all living things as dogs. There are many living things in the world, but they don't manage them, allowing them to develop and kill each other. The other is that heaven is merciful and rewards good and evil. But according to the highest standards of the celestial Tao, the heavenly Tao is heartless. It doesn't care about life and death. Gu Qinsha thought about it. But when we cultivate to a high realm, we take care of all living things and treat them like crops. Which farmer doesn't love his crops? This is the divine Tao. As for the divine Tao, the saints are heartless and treat the people as dogs. This is the difference between the divine Tao and the divine Tao. It can be said that the divine Tao is close to the heavenly Tao, while the divine Tao is a heaven-defying Tao. Or rather, it is to use one's body to replace the heavenly Tao. The divine Tao is completely different. Gu Qinsha deduced again and again. He had many plans in his mind. He was very patient and waited for an opportunity. At the same time, in the capital of the Sama Empire, in the deepest part of the main temple, there was a garden filled with formations. Jing Qiu placed the myrtle imperial star's profundity on the altar in the center of the garden and silently sat down. A strange energy seemed to wrap around it and gather on the imperial star's profundity. This power was the power of the entire Sama Empire. It was somewhat similar to the emperor's qi. Jing Qiu silently watched all of this. His face was a mixture of sadness and happiness. No one knew what he was thinking in the depths of his heart. In the garden, there were dozens of people. Jing Fanqing was the leader, followed by Jing Yanhuang, Jing Yunqi, Jing Xing, Jing Ji, Jing Xian, Jing Kong, Jing Shui, and others who had all reached the Dao realm. The elites of the Jing family were all here. However, Jing Fanqing, Xing Xing, Jing Ji, Jing Xian, Jing Kong, Jing Shui, and the others had all been stripped of their potential and cultivation by Gu Chen's Banish Immortals technique. They were now ordinary people. As for the other few elders, they weren't in the mountain and escaped. For example, Jing Yanhuang and Jing Yunqi. One of them was at the Dao Realm Transformation 13, and the other was at the Dao Realm Transformation 9. Their strength was still there, and all of them felt like they had escaped. I didn't expect the family head to actually build such a huge empire in the depths of the endless desert. Jing Yanhuang was delighted. Apart from Jing Xiao, he was the person with the highest cultivation in the family. He was at the Dao Realm Transformation 13 and was just a step away from the Astral Soul Projection 14. No one in the Jing family knows about this. This empire was meticulously nurtured by me. I began laying out the foundation 100 years ago. The only reason I was able to cultivate to this level is because of this empire. It nurtured the energy of the people, and from it, I gained enlightenment of the ebb and flow of time, the impermanence of life, and the silent passage of time. Jing Qiu said, "What a pity, what a pity." My original intention was to obtain the common people's wish sphere and use it to suppress the Sama Empire and the destiny of the Qiu sect that I founded. However, I failed on the verge of success and even caused the Jing family to fall into enemy hands. Patriarch, my strength has completely disappeared, and I don't have any talent either. Even if I take pills and cultivate again, it won't help. Patriarch, please send me to the Black Gate of Heaven and Earth immediately. I'll ask the sect leader to activate the secret of the Celestial Gate and help me recover. Jing Fanqing was the most dispirited one. Even though he had escaped, he didn't feel happy at all. His cultivation was gone, and his talent was the same as an idiot. It was tough for him to even walk, and he probably couldn't even kill a chicken. Not to mention returning to the Heaven and Earth Gate. He would die of thirst and exhaustion in less than 100 miles. For the first time, he felt the fragility of ordinary people. It was like a high and mighty emperor who suddenly lost his country and his family. He became a beggar among the people and had to fight with wild dogs for garbage. It's useless for you to return to the Heaven and Earth Gate. Although the sect leader is powerful, he can't do anything about your situation. If he could easily help you recover your strength, wouldn't he be able to mass-produce immortals with the 22 transformations of heaven and earth? Jing Qiu shook his head. Even the 3 celestial venerables would find it difficult to deal with your situation, let alone the Black Heaven and Earth Gate. Unless they are willing to use some ancient treasures, such as the spirit medicine from the primordial tree, the dragon creation chi from the Dragon Gate, or some supreme, divine talismans from the ancient emperor's sacrifice. These things can only be found by luck. How could the 3 celestial venerables be willing to give them to you? Gu Tanjian has the dragon creation pill. It shouldn't be difficult to get one from him. As long as I consume it, I can recover my talent as an unparalleled genius. Furthermore, the clan head still has some Azure Dragon bloodline. It will not be difficult for me to recover my cultivation. Jing Fanqing seemed to have grasped at a life-saving straw. Difficult. Jing Qiu sighed once more. Fanqing, the most important thing isn't your talent. It's that you're old and your potential has been exhausted. How is that possible? Jing Fanqing suddenly remembered that he had cultivated for hundreds of years in the depths of the Heaven and Earth Gate. That's right. You were greedy and advanced. You cultivated in the depths of the Heaven and Earth Gate for hundreds of years. You're actually already 500 to 600 years old. Actually, your strength was taken away by the banished deity, and you're really at the end of your rope. Normal people can't live for 500 to 600 years, so you'll quickly grow old. Your teeth will fall out, your body will stink, and you'll become demented. In a year, you'll die of old age. Jing Qiu's words sent chills down Jing Fanqing's spine. If I hadn't used my technique to protect you, you'd probably be old by now. However, I can't protect you for long. At most, in 3 years, you'll still die of old age. What do I do? What do I do? Jing Fanqing was on the verge of breaking down. He suddenly felt like he could die at any moment. This was something he couldn't take. Life and death are extremely terrifying, especially when you originally had hope of living forever. Jing Qiu didn't care at all. However, show your willpower and face it calmly. As long as you can comprehend the secrets of the outliers beyond the heavenly Tao, there's still a lot of hope for you. You were originally an unparalleled genius, a proud son of heaven, and your cultivation was smooth sailing. However, your fiancé entered the palace, and your personality changed drastically. You became eager for quick success and blinded by hatred. This is a great calamity, and now your cultivation has been completely crippled. There's no hope at all, and you can only wait for death. This is a calamity within a calamity, but there's always a way out. Even beyond the heavenly Tao, there are outliers. Right now, you're already in the deepest depths of hell. If you can rely on your own willpower to turn the situation around, your achievements will be 10 times greater than before. Family head, how can I comprehend the outliers? Jing Fanqing was like a drowning person who had grabbed onto a life-saving straw. The Tao of outliers. Among the common people, among the lowliest of existences, there's a reason for survival. From ancient times until now, it wasn't the strongest who lived the longest. On the contrary, some of the lowliest existences were able to live on for generations. Jing Qiu sighed, but that's all I can give you. These are some of the principles I've comprehended while establishing the Sama Empire and operating the Tao of Divinity. What would you like me to do, family head? Jing Fanqing seemed to have pulled himself together, and his eyes glittered. Participate in the politics of the Sama Empire and carry out a series of reforms. I can guarantee that you won't die of old age within 3 years, but you only have 3 years. Jing Qiu said, in these 3 years, you have to forget everything. Don't think about cultivation and forget about life and death. Devote yourself to managing the government, managing the country, and developing your way of thinking. I want to see how far you can go. In governing the country, you will let go of the past and become one with the common people. Remember, you only have 3 years. Abandon everything, forget everything, and be reborn. That's my advice to you. Yes, Jing Fanqing seemed to have understood many things. Great God, His Majesty the Emperor has come to listen to divine teachings. Just then, a prayer came from outside the garden. Let him in, Jing Qiu said. Crack. The door to the garden opened, and a middle-aged man in a golden robe walked in. He wore a crown and held a scepter. He looked to be in his 40s, but was actually in his 90s. This middle-aged man was the first sacred emperor of the Sama Empire, Tai Muhan. He knelt on both knees and paid his respects to Jing Qiu. Great God, thank you for the gift of rain. The lowly ruler of the Sama Empire seeks an audience with you. Very good, Tai Muhan. You've done well. Jing Qiu's divine voice rang out. I brought new emissaries from the divine Central Plains. They all have my blood, and they will assist you in your politics. They will expand the Empire's influence and spread my glory to the distant divine Central Plains. God's decree is supreme, Tai Muhan said without hesitation. The lowly ruler will definitely believe in your Tao and spread your glory to every corner of the world. Very well. Go back and make the arrangements. Jing Qiu waved his hand. Tai Muhan once again prostrated himself on the ground, then left. Chapter 373. Since ancient times, divine power and royal power had always clashed. Wise and valiant human emperors had tried their best to restrict divine power, even going so far as to destroy temples and hunt down and kill the believers of the gods. The famous emperors of the divine continent, such as the Emperor Wu, had once destroyed the temples of the gods and ordered the people not to believe in religion. They could only submit to the imperial power. The heavenly talisman emperor was even more amazing, directly sealing the gods. This was a different kind of god bestowment. It wasn't a bestowment of the gods, but a sealing of them. I've studied history for a long time. At the beginning of the empire's development, divine power was more important than anything else. No voices of opposition were allowed, and everything was dictated. This allowed all the power to be gathered and developed. The gods' vision far surpassed that of mortals, and they guided mortals onto the right path. Otherwise, mortals would walk on their own, killing each other and wasting their own strength. When civilization no longer needs the guidance of gods, gods will disappear. But now gods must exist. Jing Xiu said, "Actually, isn't the Yonko of the divine continent the same?" Gu Taxian guided everything, but now that he's gone into seclusion, it's not as if he didn't want to investigate. He wants to see if the civilization he created can operate on its own without him. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem possible. On the path of creating a civilization, there are no precedents. Any powerful existence can only fumble about on their own. That is the greatest form of cultivation. Many of the Jing family disciples listened quietly. They felt that this family head's words were filled with profound truths. The Jing family has completely failed in the divine continent. I was defeated by the previous Lord of 7 Stars, Jiang Gongwang. It's not embarrassing. Jing Xiu didn't seem dispirited at all. Next, don't think about revenge. Use your own methods and strategies to expand the Sama Empire in the desert. There's plenty of time in the future to rebuild the Jing family's former glory. Yes, sir. The Jing family members all knew that the Sama Empire had been single-handedly cultivated by Jing Xiu. Jing Xiu had created the language, and Jing Xiu was their god. Given Jing Xiu's current strength, he could indeed suppress everything and protect the empire. Even the Tao of immortals and mystical sects couldn't do anything to him. Tao Realm 25 Transformation Undying Body had the right to do so. Don't underestimate government affairs. It's a good opportunity for cultivation, Jing Xiu warned again. We all know. Don't worry, Patriarch. Everyone said, Patriarch, if you can fuse the profound mysteries of the Imperial Star into your body, you'll be as strong as a Lord of 6 Stars. Jing Fanqing said, the Myrtle Imperial Star is one of the most powerful stars. It possesses unfathomable power and can rule over the mortal realm. This star profound is extremely hard to refine, but I have my ways. Jing Xiu glanced at Jing Fanqing. Don't worry. If you can comprehend the path of divergent within 3 years, not only will you recover your strength, but you will also have the strength to kill Gu Qinsha. Comprehending a divergent? Ha ha! At that moment, a voice sounded out. Following that, the layers of formations did not react at all, allowing a young man to enter. This young man was wearing normal hemp clothes and hemp shoes. He looked really simple and didn't look like a mortal cultivator at all. F.A. Wuxian. Jing Xiu knew who it was right away. F.A. Wuxian's temperament was completely different from before. In the past, he was the #1 in the world, looking down on all heroes, peerless in the divine path. But now, he was on a different plane from the many spaces. He seemed to be in a trance, as if he existed, but also as if he didn't exist. Mr. Jing Xiu is really powerful. He actually dared to start a rebellion. It's a pity that he met Zhuge and failed at the last step. Even I feel sorry for him, but he still has a backup plan. He has built such a huge empire in the desert. F.A. Wuxian stood in the air with his arms behind his back. I came today to take some things from you. I want the profoundness of the Myrtle Imperial Star. Also, I want a portion of your Azure Dragon bloodline and Gochen bloodline. Ha ha! Jing Xiu laughed very happily. F.A. Wuxian, you're really interesting. You're actually demanding an exorbitant price and want these things. Then what did you bring for me? Me? I'll help you build this empire and expand it. Moreover, if you and I work together, we won't have to fear Zhuge and the Calm Immortal Department. We can even kill them. How about it? Apart from this, I can also use our legalism's supreme treasure, the Unified Cutting Technique Hoop. With the help of this treasure, there's hope of killing Zhuge, right? Fa Wuxian's tone did not allow anyone to go against him. The legalist's true treasure for suppressing destiny was something equivalent to the life's wish sphere. It was a unified cutting ring. This ring was created by the legalist sage using his own bones. It had been nurtured for thousands of years by the legalists for generations. It had reached an unprecedented level and was not inferior to the life's wish sphere. In fact, it might even surpass it. Of course, this was also why the life's wish sphere had not been perfected. The core of the legalism school was the world within the hoop. It was called the omniscient law realm, and it had the wondrous ability to rotate the universe. Fa Wuxian, you don't need the omniscient law ring, and you can't promise me anything. As for your help, it's useless to me. What kind of treasure is the profoundness of the Myrtle Imperial Star? The Azure Dragon bloodline and Gochin bloodline are also supreme bloodlines. Do you really think that I, Jingqiu, am a stray dog? Is that not the case? Fa Wuxian's eyes were filled with mockery. The Jing clan has already been erased from the divine prefecture. The other disciples have either been locked up or killed. They're all going through trials. In the eyes of the various aristocratic families, the Jing clan has no chance of making a comeback. This time, even Wu Dankong didn't say much. She seems to have reached some sort of agreement with Zhuge. Actually, I'm here today to obtain the Myrtle Imperial Star. Azure Dragon bloodline and Gochin bloodline, you have to give them to me even if you don't want to. If you don't, I don't mind wiping your Sama Empire from the desert. How dare you? Jingqiu nodded. You're not here to cooperate. You're here to threaten me. It's understandable that Mr. Jingqiu thinks that way. You're a stray dog now, and it seems like you don't have the chance to negotiate with me. I'd like to capture you and exchange some things with the Calming Fairy Department. Fa Wuxian said indifferently. You are now at Dao Realm 22, Phenomenon of Heaven and Earth. Jingqiu's expression calmed down. He was even calmer than Fa Wuxian. Your talent is that of a natural saint, so you were pretty much invincible the moment you were born. Your cultivation is similar to Jing Fanxing, but with your cultivation, you are definitely no match for me, even if you are a natural saint. It seems like Mr. Jingqiu has underestimated natural saints. You underestimated Zhuge, which is why you ended up in such a state. You underestimated me, and today will be the day you die. A cruel smile appeared on Fa Wuxian's face. Fa Wuxian, you are far weaker than Zhuge. Do you think I lost to Zhuge? Actually, I lost to Jiang Gongwang and Zhuge's Lord of Seven Stars working together. Jiang Gongwang's cultivation is the king of saints, and he is even stronger than your Dharma saint. I admit that I lost to him, but sooner or later, I will take revenge. As for you, you can't even compare to Zhuge. Since you actually came to find me, then I will kill you. I'm not even afraid of Gu Taxian and rebelled. Do you think I will be afraid of a small legalist? Jingqiu suddenly sighed. He stood up abruptly and walked like a dragon or tiger. The wind blew and the clouds scud as he threw a punch at Fa Wuxian. His left fist was the world-flipping fist, but his right fist was different. It was the world creation fist. Everything he had done in the Divine Land had turned the world upside down and thrown the universe into chaos. What he had done in the desert was to create the universe and create civilization. This was his true trump card. He hadn't used it against Zhuge because he knew that even if he did, it would be useless. But now, he attacked Fa Wuxian. Whoosh! Fa Wuxian felt two completely different fist techniques wrap around him. It was as if he were facing the boundless might of heaven and the power of yin and yang. This guy is powerful. His undying body is really powerful. Fa Wuxian didn't look down on Jingqiu at all. Although his tone was disdainful, he was actually fully focused on defending against Jingqiu. But when Jingqiu's fist technique came, he felt like he was completely surrounded by raging waves. Dharma blessing. He activated his own defense. Countless talismans gathered around him. No matter how Jingqiu attacked, he didn't move. But when Jing Qiu's fist technique passed, he found that he was already tens of thousands of miles away on the sea. Jing Qiu had used his supreme Dharma power to avoid fighting in the Sama Empire and hurting his subjects. Jing Qiu, I can't believe you used your Dharma power to move our battlefield to the sea. It seems that you have a lot of misgivings. Fa Wuxian laughed. It seems that you're very afraid that I will kill your subjects. That's right. The Sama Empire is a country that I have painstakingly managed for a long time. God's sheep and God's crops can only be carefully cared for. You won't understand that. Jing Qiu looked at Fa Wuxian quietly. Fa Wuxian, with your abilities, if you don't fight me head-on and focus on destroying my country, I'm afraid it will really cause a destructive blow. Hence, I can't allow you to do that. My desire to kill you has surpassed Minister Jing Xian because you have already crossed my bottom line. I want to capture you too. Fa Wuxian spread his arms wide. You were defeated at the hands of the Jing Xian Sea. If I can't even deal with you, how can I possibly wipe them out? But don't worry, I'll throw the world into chaos and oppose Gu Taxian. That's exactly what I want to do. Chapter 374. Fa Wuxian had been silent for too long. Ever since Zhuge Ye appeared, he had restrained his actions and disappeared from everyone's sight. Actually, he had been cultivating in secret and holding back his anger. The Tao of Battle Sage that he comprehended was to fight against the heavens, against the earth, and against people. In a battle at Buzhou Palace many years ago, he had activated this Tao, but was unable to take down Lu Baiyue's great massacre god technique. It was a great humiliation. This time, he wanted to kill Si Jing Xian and capture Zhuge Ye to prove that he was the #1 natural-born saint and that he could dominate the world. But now, he knew that it was still too early for him to be on par with Zhuge Ye. Coincidentally, Jing Qiu had given him a chance. Jing Qiu had many treasures on him, especially the profound meaning of the Myrtle Imperial Star, the Green Dragon Blood, and the Gochen Blood. When fused together, Fa Wuxian's battle techniques and aptitude would increase once again. Even the natural-born saint aptitude was actually divided into different grades. For example, Zhuge Ye, Grand Preceptor Wenhong, and Fa Wuxian were all of this grade. But in terms of aptitude, Zhuge Ye was the strongest, Wenhong was about the same, and Fa Wuxian was slightly weaker than the other two. This meant that Fa Wuxian still had room for improvement. After he captured and killed Jing Qiu, his strength would increase, and after some hard work, he would be able to find Si Jing Xian. Moreover, if an expert like Jing Qiu fought with him to the death, he would be able to greatly improve himself. His Tao of Battle Sage was very pure. It was to fight, and fight again, to abandon everything and not consider anything else. Everything was for the sake of fighting. Kill. Jing Qiu punched out again. The fist force was mixed with magic power, and it seemed to cover the sky. His 36 doppelgangers also punched out, and the sky, concealing formation, kept rotating, pressing, and pulling, wanting to completely tear Fa Wuxian apart. What a heavenly dipper extreme Tao transformation. If it were any other lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, they would have been completely destroyed by this move. Fa Wuxian could feel immense pressure coming from all directions. He couldn't escape or dodge. He could only take the attack head-on. Suddenly, his body transformed into a ring. The ring was divided into two sides, one black and one white. Within the ring, there was a black and a white ring. Countless transformations took place. All the magic power that was sent into the depths of the ring vanished into thin air or was completely absorbed. At the Tao realm, 22 transformations, phenomenon of heaven and earth. One could transform into anything in the world. Naturally, one could use their body to transform into all sorts of treasures. The Black Gate of heaven and earth that Jing Fanqing had transformed into was extremely powerful. And now, the magic treasure Fa Wuxian had transformed into was the legalism's cornerstone treasure, the unified cutting Dharma ring. This bracelet could suppress the school of legalism's karmic luck, and it had all sorts of unimaginable uses. Fa Wuxian was able to use his body's transformations to simulate some of the uses, and he was actually able to block Jing Qiu's attack. Buzz, a mysterious phenomenon appeared in heaven and earth. When Jing Qiu and Fa Wuxian's magic power clashed with one another, the ocean water flew into the sky. It was as if heaven and earth had flipped. The sky was the ocean and the ground was the clouds. Lock. Jing Qiu's 36 magic clones all had supreme uses, and now they were all quickly setting up astral steps. Above their heads, a purple energy current appeared. That was the shaking of magic power, and it started to absorb celestial energy from the celestial world to attack. A purple ripple spread out, and the sky within dozens of miles turned into a giant purple crystal rectangle. Within the rectangle, Fa Wuxian and Jing Qiu faced off once more. This is the technique of the three celestial venerables, primordial celestial realm. Fa Wuxian looked at the purple crystal rectangle around him. It was formed from celestial energy, but when the celestial energy changed, it contained a portion of the celestial world's will. It was vast and indestructible. That's right. This is the primordial celestial realm. It uses a secret technique to draw upon the celestial worlds, to create a realm that can seal the enemy and prevent them from escaping. Jing Qiu calmed down completely. This is not my own power, but the power I borrowed from the celestial world. It's the will of the dimension. This technique can even isolate all magic treasures. Originally, I was confident that I could kill Zhuge by using this technique with the central Wutu Great Virtue flag. Unfortunately, I miscalculated. But this time, even without the central Wutu Great Virtue flag, I'm confident that you won't be able to escape. The three celestial venerables are really troublemakers. They don't have the confidence to face Gu Taxian directly, and they don't know what Gu Taxian is up to. So they raise some pawns like you, the ancient black sand, and some others. Fa Wuxian laughed coldly. Looks like you're determined to kill me today. It's not that I want to kill you. You are the one blinded by greed. Do you really think that my Jing clan is a stray dog? Jing Qiu seemed to have seen through Fa Wuxian's thoughts. There's a path to heaven, but you don't want to take it. Instead, you barge into the gates of hell. As Fa Wuxian spoke, he secretly circulated his magic energy, wanting to seep it out. However, it was useless. It's useless. If the primordial celestial realm can be broken through, the three celestial venerables would have lived for nothing. Jing Qiu had already grasped every action of Fa Wuxian. At this moment, in the desert far away, Gu Chansha was still in the form of a speck of sand. He floated in the air along with the wind, secretly observing the battle on the sea surface. In his eyes, Jing Qiu and Fa Wuxian were fighting within the huge amethyst cuboid in the distance. However, the power of their battle did not leak out at all. Instead, it was absorbed by the amethyst cuboid, which made the amethyst cuboid even more sturdy. The sealing power was even stronger. Layer by layer, it pressed down on Fa Wuxian. Jing Qiu is truly awesome. Gu Chansha stared at this battle. There was no suspense at all. From the start to the end, Jing Qiu had the upper hand. Even if Fa Wuxian was an innate saint, he had no way to retaliate. This primordial celestial realm can actually borrow the will of the immortal world to form a domain, sealing the surroundings and absorbing the aftershocks of the battle. This means that every time Fa Wuxian attacks, he is actually helping the immortal realm to strengthen itself. Fa Wuxian is actually fighting against a trace of the will of the immortal world. There's basically no chance of victory. Now, we can only see if he can escape or not. However, Fa Wuxian definitely has some trump cards up his sleeves. Gu Chansha comprehended many principles from watching Jing Qiu's battle. This was especially so because this primordial celestial realm was extremely similar to the Great Massacre Divine art. However, the Great Massacre Divine art was much more profound and exquisite compared to the primordial celestial realm. It was just that Gu Chunsha was far from being able to comprehend the essence of the great massacre divine art. Even Lu Baiwei had only comprehended 1% of the profundities. During the battle between Fa Wuxian and Jing Xiu, Gu Chunsha imprinted the entire scene into his sea of consciousness. He used all his mental energy to calculate and analyze, trying to unravel the secrets and essence of their cultivation. This battle was of great benefit to him. After an hour, the battle between Fa Wuxian and Jing Xiu grew more and more intense. The primordial celestial realm was also shrinking from tens of miles to only a few miles, squeezing Fa Wuxian's combat and survival space. If there were no accidents, Fa Wuxian would definitely be killed by Jing Xiu. A large amount of information was collected by Gu Chunsha into his sea of consciousness. After that, he started to calculate. Regardless of whether it was Jing Xiu or Fa Wuxian, the current Gu Chunsha wouldn't be able to do anything to them. In fact, he might even be at a disadvantage in a one-on-one fight. Don't think that Jing Fanxing and Fa Wuxian were the same realm, the 22 transformations of Dao realm phenomenon of heaven and earth. In truth, their combat strength was worlds apart. Gu Chunsha could use the banished celestial technique to casually toy with Jing Fanxing, but against Fa Wuxian, he could only flee. After all, be it talent or cultivation, he was far from Fa Wuxian. Of course, after the Grotto Heaven Grand Ceremony, Law Emperor Grand Ceremony, 100 World Grand Ceremony, and after merging the God of 5 Seasons, Green Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Xuanwu bloodlines, the strength of his physical body far exceeded that of Fa Wuxian. If he had also advanced to the 22 transformations, lawful embodiment of heaven and earth, then Fa Wuxian would definitely not be his match. After all, since ancient times, no one had gathered the Go Chun, Green Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Xuanwu bloodlines. Even if the legalists were really strong, they definitely wouldn't be able to obtain all these bloodlines. On the other hand, Com Celestial Division was really lucky. The few main leaders Lu Baiwei, Gu Chunsha, Zhuge Ye the Fourth, and Jin Suibo all had the 5 bloodlines. They were circulating in their bodies to gather and raise their strength. However, these bloodlines were still a little thin. If he could get more, he could strengthen them. The best way was to capture Go Chen's main body and then obtain the Saint-level Green Dragon, White Tiger, Vermilion Bird, and Xuanwu bloodlines. Only then would these bloodlines be complete. Gu Chunsha tried his best to deduce, and in the depths of his mind, the potential in his body was ignited. His heart split, and his 300,000 task mind became 600,000 task mind. His primordial soul power doubled again. With the essence soul and the Sciention energy in his body, his golden pellet could be strengthened. It seems like my foundation stabilizing technique is having some effect. Once I raise my essence soul power to the 100,000 task mind level, my foundation will be stable and I will break through to Dao realm 20 transformations. It won't be too late for me to start cultivating. There is no rush now. After Gu Chen's essence soul power broke through to the 600,000 task mind level, be it absorbing energy from the outside world or purifying the impurities in his golden pellet, it became much easier. Under his divine technique, many of the wondrous techniques in the Son of Heaven's investiture art had made great progress. Normally speaking, people like him who could change their size 19 times would at most be able to do 10,000 things with one heart or 20,000 to 30,000 things. They were far from his level. Gu Chunsha hid even deeper, but his observation was even clearer. He had finally achieved a breakthrough after accumulating and comprehending for the past few days. He felt very gratified, and at this moment, within the primordial ancient celestial realm, Fa Wuxian had already been forced into a desperate situation, and he started to retaliate. Wang, you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.